Sometime in January 2024, a second sun appeared in the sky. No, that wasn't the sun. It was a ball of fire, swelling large enough to watch with the naked eye. A meteor's hitting Earth. This is it. Humanity's done for. Ha ha ha, reset. It's finally getting reset. The instant that object, thousands of kilometers across, came crashing down, I didn't even get a single word out. The Earth shattered. When I came to, I was lying on a hard, flat surface. The surface was rising and falling. Splash, splash, waves. My body was burning hot. I'm not dead. My eyes snapped open and I sat up. Endless ocean. A sky scrubbed clean and blue. A vicious sun hanging overhead, baking me alive. In my head, that world-ending impact was still playing on a loop. Was this heaven or hell? The next second, line after line of text floated straight into my mind. Welcome to the live-action game, Ocean Survival. Humans under 18 and over 60 have been placed into forced sleep. The game system has been implanted into the brains of all participants. Starting vessel, canoe. Upgrades available later. The first 7 days are the tutorial period. Difficulty rises each day. Establish your footing as fast as you can. When the tutorial ends, the first special event triggers. After that, one occurs at random every 7 days. Everything in this game is real, including death. This game can be cleared. Discover the rules yourself. Talent draw incoming. Maximize its value. Player, Zhuang Yin. Talent draw successful. The text stopped, and a surge of information poured into my head. I saw clearly what I'd drawn. Talent, Pleasure Seeker of the Seas rank. SSS, one of a kind, worldwide. Effect 1. Each second, randomly gain one type of supply. The pool expands as the game progresses. Rarer items have lower odds. Effect 2. May form contracts with crew members of the opposite sex who have an overall rating of 90 or higher. For each one, all my stats plus 100%, that crew member's stats plus 20%, and they're teleported aboard instantly. If a crew member dies, the effect is lost. Effect 3. For each contracted crew member, gain one additional supply per second. Effect 4. After establishing an intimate relationship with a contracted crew member, their talent can be copied at half effectiveness. One of a kind, worldwide. SSS. I stared at those lines, and my heart skipped a beat. View personal info. Player, Zhuang Yin, age 20, height 184 centimeters, weight 73 kilograms, strength 8, agility 9, endurance 9. O vessel. Canoe contractable crew, 0/0. Contractable 0. The boat was too small. I'd have to upgrade first. A guy my size, over 6 feet, was crammed into this canoe with no room to even straighten my legs. Add one more person, and the thing would sink on the spot. Open inventory. Toast, potato chips, hot dogs, bottled water, lumber, rattan, chocolate. Dozens of items lay quietly there, and more were stacking up one by one. I smiled. One item per second, materials, food, water, all covered. And the inventory was infinite. Everyone else was fighting for their lives out here. I was on vacation. I cracked open a bottle of water and gulped it down, knocking back most of the heat. Then my eyes turned to the boat under me. Canoe level 1 can upgrade to simple raft. Level 2 required. Lumber 40, rattan 10. Lumber came fast, rattan a little slower, but it wouldn't take long to have enough. I could afford to wait either way. Open the regional chat channel. First entry. Please set a name. Zhuang Yin. You have entered Zone Z, District K1. Currently alive. 998,865 players. I froze. A full million players had started, and in the blink of an eye, over 1,000 were gone. More than 1,000 people drowned in the first second. I looked down at the canoe rocking beneath me with the swell and said nothing more. The chat panel was scrolling like crazy. I skimmed through line by line, hunting for anything useful. The channel was a chorus of wailing and screaming. A fish just leaped out of the water and scared me so bad I flipped my boat. Now I can't flip it back. Any pros got ideas? So hot and so thirsty. Who'll share some water with me? Big bro will repay you someday, I sweared. CC, can you see this? If you can, contact me right now. I drew a B-rank talent. Wipe-free pooping, never constipated again. How strong is that, ballpark? Anybody draw A rank or above? Let us live vicariously. Garbage game. Gives you a rod but no bait. How am I supposed to fish? A mess. Not one useful line. I just closed it when a new notice chimed. Effective immediately. Treasure chests will appear randomly on the sea. Quality is random. Opening one yields supplies, and higher quality means better loot. I looked up. Sure enough, a little black dot was drifting in from the distance. Slow, far, and not even guaranteed to drift into salvage range. Building a fortune off chests meant relying on the face of a born luck god. For other people, they were a lifeline. For me, take it or leave it. 10 minutes later, that chest bobbed off 30 meters away. My face darkened. Forget it. Upgrading matters more. Inventory. Lumber 66. Rattan 10. Enough. Upgrade vessel. Confirm. A flash of white light, and the canoe became a narrow raft, 1.5 meters long. A modest improvement, but my legs, cramped up for ages, could finally stretch out. Vessel upgraded. Simple raft, level 2. The next moment, a line of golden text slammed into everyone's view. Announcement. Congratulations to player Zhuang Yin of Zone Z, District K1, the first in the district to upgrade their vessel to level 2. Reward, bronze chest ×1. It flashed 3 times in a row. The whole district lost it. Holy crap, I just pried 2 units of lumber out of a chest, and this guy's already at level 2. 40 lumber and 10 rattan. Where'd he get that? Must have struck a chest jackpot. Big bro Zhuang Yin. Carry me, share your secrets. Secrets my ass. Dude's definitely cheating. I glanced over and couldn't be bothered to respond. The private messages, though, 99 plus unread already. I opened them and skimmed, all begging for guides or shamelessly fishing to get taken care of. Nothing worthwhile. I was about to close it when a different one popped up. Xinyue, Zhuang Yin, is that you? It's me, Zhang Xinyue. Zhang Xinyue. Rich family, fair skin, long legs. A classmate in my own department, the acknowledged campus beauty, the kind known across the whole school. In 3 years, she and I had exchanged maybe a handful of words. The reason was simple. I was poor. I was busy working part-time jobs to pay my way. She was busy enjoying college life. That she even remembered me was probably just because Zhuang Yin was an easy name to recall. She'd heard it called too many times at roll. Zhuang Yin, it's me. You need something? You didn't need a brain to know she wanted something from me. I didn't mind. Her wanting something was exactly what set up my next move. Because her overall rating in the system was 93. Right on the line. Just enough to clear my talent's contract threshold. I pulled up her panel. Zhang Xinyue rating 93 talent. Plant affinity, a rank. Plant growth speed aboard plus 20%. Once daily. Can cast accelerated growth over an area for a major boost. A talent that looked useless at first glance. But combining it with the fact that someone had just opened strawberry seeds from a chest. I'd bet that in this game, vegetables and fruit were extremely hard to get. Short term, no problem. Long term, vitamin deficiency could kill you. And a stretch with no vegetables, no fruit? A Chinese stomach like mine couldn't handle it. So Zhang Xinyue was my predetermined first crew member. She wouldn't agree? Then on to the next. Xinyue, how'd you get to a raft so fast? Can you tell me? Just as expected. Zhuang Yin, luck off the charts. 7 or 8 chests drifted and clustered together. Opened them all, and it was just enough. My hand. No chance she was seeing it. A mix of truth and lies. Let her guess for herself. With that talent of hers, surviving the early game wasn't going to be easy anyway. Xinyue, okay, and here I thought you had some trick. Add me as a friend. I'll want to ask you things later. Zhuang Yin, sure did. Once it was done, she logged off, satisfied. I set a special alert for her messages, then ran through the private messages one more time. Aside from a few classmates equally bent on prying, still nothing useful. Open the chest first. I tossed the bronze chest onto the raft. The waterline didn't budge. The chest had no weight. Made sense. If it actually weighed anything, a single bronze box could have sunk the canoe. Open. Opening bronze chest. Obtained sturdy hemp rope ×10. I paused and checked the inventory to confirm. Among the 20-some supply types my talent rolled each second, there was no hemp rope at all. These 10 could only come from chests. A little disappointing. But the next glance at the upgrade screen nearly broke the corners of my mouth. Simple raft, level 2. Can upgrade to sturdy raft, level 3. Required. Lumber 80, sturdy hemp rope 20 contractable crew after upgrade. 01. Plenty of lumber, plenty of food and drink. Just short on hemp rope. I had only these 10, half of what I needed. As luck would have it, another chest drifted over. An iron-trimmed wooden box, ordinary grade. I waited until it floated within a meter, then yanked it in with the net. Thunk. Open. Opening common chest. Obtained black pantyhose, 10D. Me? Fine, better than nothing. Infinite inventory, and pantyhose doesn't have to go on legs. I'd hang on to it. I started doing the math. Right now, the overwhelming majority of people were still stuck on canoes. But once the main pack caught up, this small lead of mine would be worth nothing. My talent wasn't rolling hemp rope for the moment, and just sitting around waiting was a waste. So, trading. I was holding the one thing everyone was short on, water. I opened the trade channel. One glance told the whole story. WTB. Drinking water 200 milliliters. Trading lumber/rot tan. Have a heart, big bro, I'm dying of thirst. WTS. Lumber 5 for 500 milliliters fresh water. Upgrade early, get ahead early. Buyers, sellers, it all circled back to water. People actually selling water? Barely any. I posted one. WTB. Sturdy hemp, rope times 10, 500 milliliters drinking water per rope. Posted it and stepped away. People had only been in the water a short while. I wasn't in a hurry. Once they got thirsty enough, anyone holding goods would come trade like good little kids. I took out the rod, tore off a piece of hot dog for bait, and cast it down. Plop. I watched the bobber, eyes drifting over the sea, checking for any chests floating in. Unfortunately, luck wasn't online. A full hour. 2 bottles of water gone. Not a single fish, not a single chest. The inventory, on the other hand, kept piling higher. Toast 82, chips 120, hot dogs 154, bottled water 540, lumber 1266, instant noodles 48. A dozen plus new types added, several thousand items in all. Hemp rope alone, none. Still this few people who've reached a raft. I clicked my tongue and opened the public channel for some entertainment. The whole screen was one tune. I think I'm getting dehydrated. Somebody save me with some fresh water. Why does this seawater get harder to drink the more I drink? Above you, are you stupid? I opened a bottle of water from a chest, not thirsty anymore, but now my stomach's empty. Some yelling about thirst, some about hunger. Only me, fishing and sunbathing out on the sea. The private messages had stacked up too. Begging for water was over half of them. The rest asked how to get lumber fast. Men and women just used different tactics. The women, big brother, little sis is so thirsty. Let little sis drink some of your water first, and later little sis will let you drink hers too, okay? The men, big bro, brother here is parched. Beg you for some water. I'll repay you tenfold someday. In the friends list, Zhang Xinyue had sent a string too. Xinyue, Zhuangyan. I opened a cream bun from a chest. Are you hungry? Wanting to share half with you. Xinyue. Oh, I forgot. You've already upgraded your vessel. You definitely wouldn't want this half bun of mine. Xinyue. Actually, I'm a little hungry too, but I'm scared eating will make me thirstier. Xinyue. In the chat channel, what everyone wants most is water. No idea when I'll be able to get any. Xinyue. If I really get water, I'll share with you too. Half a bun. She was really selling the performance. It was crystal clear to me. She had a flock of simps hooked on the public board. She could wheedle a little lumber out of them, but not a single drop of water. A campus beauty wilting under the sun suddenly remembering me. The poor classmate she hadn't said more than a few words to in 3 years. No need to guess what she was after. Too bad I couldn't be the simp she wanted. I couldn't be bothered to dance around it. So I went straight to the point. Zhuang Yan, thirsty. 2 words, leaving her to stew. The reply came fast. Xinyue. Yeah, baking in the sun this long. I'm hot and thirsty. Xinyue. Look, my skin's all sunburned. Xinyue, image. A photo from her face to her collarbone. Snow-white skin flushed with a layer of sunburn red. Lips that should have been dewy now cracked and peeling pale gray. The whole picture limp and listless. Pitiful, the heart-melting kind. A softer man would have dissolved on the spot. Too bad I wasn't soft. Zhuangyan. Xinyue, I can give you water. I can give you food too. Zhuangyan. 500 milliliters drinking water. Cola. Chocolate. braised beef noodles, chips, toast. The other end went silent for several seconds. I could almost picture her eyes going wide. After all that acting, finally hooking a big fish. But of course she didn't dare reach out openly, afraid of giving herself away. Sure enough, she knew, wow, Zhuang Yin, you're amazing. But these are so precious to you right now. If I take them, won't you be left with none? I can't take them to. Zhuang Yin, you really don't want any? Another few seconds of hesitation on her end. Xinhua, if you've got plenty, I'll just take a tiny bit of water. A teeny bit is enough. Zhuang Yin, sure did. I opened the trade and put it up. Player Zhuang Yin requests a trade with you. Drinking water, 1 bottle cap. Nothing. 1 bottle cap. Not more, not less. Exactly a teeny bit. Her end went still. So still I could practically hear her grinding her teeth from tens of thousands of kilometers away. Zhuang Yin, why aren't you confirming? Come on. A good while later, the trade bar finally lit up. Xinhua, Zhuang Yin, thank you so much. Thanks delivered through gritted teeth. She must have struggled to even type the words. I had water, I had cola, I had a whole spread of food and drink, and I gave her 1 bottle cap. It was a humiliation, and she knew it better than anyone. But she still took it, because she was truly thirsty. Thirsty enough that the last of her dignity couldn't outweigh the fire in her throat. I didn't push her, let her sip slowly. Timing it to about when she'd be done, I tapped out another line. Zhuang Yin, water, I've got tons. Food, tons too. Want some? This time she replied instantly. Xinhua, Zhuang Yin, what do you want? Done acting. Smart. Zhuang Yin, I want you. Her end went quiet. What she was scheming, I couldn't be bothered to guess. Nothing but to con the water and food out of me first. The sea was so vast we might never meet again, and a promise was worthless after the fact. Xinhua, okay, I'm willing to. Zhuang Yin, head. Xinhua, Zhuang Yin, I know what you're thinking, but getting things from me isn't as simple as you imagine. Zhuang Yin, as long as you don't get any clever ideas, sign the contract obediently, and serve as my crew, I guarantee you'll never have to worry about water or food again for the rest of your life. Zhuang Yin, here's the contract. See for yourself. I pushed that sheet of parchment over. 4 big characters at the top. Crew contract. Her end went silent. While she read the contract, I went over the terms again myself. The thing was generated by the system to my specifications, and the wording was ruthless enough. Crew contract. I, Zhang Xinhua, voluntarily enter into a contract with Captain Zhuang Yin. For the duration of the contract, Zhang Xinhua must do everything in her power to complete all tasks assigned by the captain. For the duration of the contract, Zhang Xinhua is the private property of Captain Zhuang Yin, with ownership of body and mind belonging entirely to the captain. For the duration of the contract, if Captain Zhuang Yin dies, Zhang Xinhua dies with him. Once signed, the contract is irrevocable, with enforcement supervised by the system. Heavy stuff. If I were her, I'd have sucked in a cold breath reading it too. Sure enough, after a long pause, a line finally popped up on her end, with a sob in it. Xinhua, Zhuang Yin, how can you have the heart to make me sign this? You're so cruel. Boo-hoo. Crying for my benefit? Wouldn't work. I wasn't annoyed. I replied at a leisurely pace. Zhuang Yin, not willing? I can only contract 1 crew member right now anyway. You don't sign? I'll find someone else. It wasn't a bluff. A pampered young lady selling herself after a little son was unrealistic to begin with. Wait another day or two, let her get thirsty enough, hungry enough, and things would naturally change. Besides, if she really would rather die than yield, then I'd swap in someone else. Women rated above 90 were plentiful. I wasn't in a hurry. To put it bluntly, the odds of someone used to being adored turning around to play the simp for someone else were low to begin with. She'd come to me on her own only to collect one more simp. And instead of collecting a simp, she'd eaten a bottle cap's worth of humiliation first. Xinhua, does it have to be this way? For old classmates' sake, can't you just give me a hand? Zhuang Yin, no? You won't do it, plenty of others will. I closed her window and turned to clearing friend requests. Down the long list, one note stood out and caught my eye. Friend request, Meng Zhou note. Big bro, saw you're looking for sturdy hemp rope, I've got a little here. If it's convenient, please accept it. A pure trade didn't need a friend ad. Meng Zhou wanted a long-term partnership. But if he really had enough hemp rope, why not just upgrade himself? Let me ask first. I accepted the request and instantly got a message. Meng Zhou, Big Bro Zhuang Yan. I've got 10 ropes here. Want to trade for some water? Any chance you'd loosen the ratio? Zhuang Yan, no. I was short on hemp rope, not on water. But long term was long term. The rule for opening shop could never be broken. Meng Zhou, not gonna lie, these 10 are pooled from me and 2 friends. 1 bottle of water split 3 ways isn't enough. Zhuang Yan, you know how precious a bottle of water is right now. Of course he knew. By this point, water was still the hardest currency in the trade channel. Now, and then someone listed water at outrageous prices. Worse still, so far, all drinking water could only come from opening chests. If the drop rate for water didn't go up, water would sooner or later become the most expensive thing in the game. Zhuang Yan, think it over yourself. Willing, we trade right now. Not willing, I find someone else. What choice did he have? Other people trading hemp rope opened with 20 ropes for 1 bottle, and the 3 of them couldn't even scrape 20 together. A moment of silence, then he caved. Meng Zhou, fine, deal. Drinking water 500 milliliters times 1 sturdy hemp rope times 10. I added 1 more line. Zhuang Yan, whenever you get your hands on something rare, come find me. I won't promise everything, but water and food. You won't lose out. Meng Zhou, thanks, big bro. Leave a line open. It'd come in handy later. Upgrade. Simple raft, sturdy raft. Cost, lumber 80, sturdy hemp rope 20. Confirm. Confirm. After the white light, the raft stretched to 4 meters long, nearly 2 wide. Sturdy raft level 3 contractable crew, 1. Right after, the golden announcement slammed across the district again. Announcement. Congratulations to player Zhuang Yan of Zone Z, District K1, the first in the district to upgrade their vessel to level 3. Reward, silver chest times 1. Same as before, 3 flashes. The public channel blew up for the 3rd time. Big brother Zhuang Yan, little sis is soft and tender, can do any position you like. Get lost, you above. At Zhuang Yan, big bro, spare some lumber. I'm just 2 units short of a raft. Ji Chinsi, where are you? If you see this, please contact me. I'm so worried about you. Silver chest. Holy crap. The private messages and friend requests exploded again. I glanced over the women messaging me. The highest system rating among them was only 88, none clearing the 90 line. No surprise. I jotted down the chest sequence the system had popped up. Chest quality. Common bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, mythic. Thunk. The silver chest landed on the raft. The sound a touch heavier and duller than the bronze. Following this pattern, the first to reach level 4 should get a gold chest. Let's open this one first. I rubbed my hands together. Any fisherman understands this little bit of ceremony. Opening silver chest. Obtained. Small seawater filtered. Removes most of the salt, bacteria, and microorganisms from seawater. Filtered water is recommended for utility use only, not for drinking. Can be installed on level 3 or higher vessels. No power required. A filter? Was that useful to me? I looked up at the vicious sun overhead just as a bead of sweat slid down past my temple. Actually, yeah, useful. I didn't have so much water that I could waste it freely, but filtering seawater to bathe with? More than enough. I clamped the filter onto the edge of the raft. The intake hose dropped automatically into the sea. The outlet extended into a length of adjustable rigid pipe. I pulled it up to about 2 meters, fixed it in place, just like mounting it on a wall. I flipped the switch. The unit gave a soft hum and water flowed out. Not a lot, but plenty for a shower. TSK, TSK. Life was starting to look downright civilized. A 4-meter sturdy raft was a sight for sore eyes. 1 more level up and I should finally be done with rafts, right? I opened the upgrade screen, and sure enough, sturdy raft wooden boat, level 4, required. Lumber 160, iron nails 40, contractable crew, 1-1. I'd never been short on lumber. But iron nails, where the hell was that supposed to come from? I dug through the inventory again, and, sturdy hemp rope was now starting to roll from my talent. Something clicked in my mind. The planks for level 1 to 2, the hemp rope for level 2 to 3. Right when I needed them, the talent rolled not a single one. Only once I'd scraped them together elsewhere and finished upgrading did it leisurely fill in. Now it was iron nails' turn, and again, not a single one. The system was throttling upgrade materials, no doubt about it. Easy enough to understand. If it didn't throttle me, with this talent of mine my boat would max out in a few days. But so what if it throttled me? I had another hard currency, water. I opened the trade channel, pulled my water for hemp rope listing, and changed it to one 500 milliliters bottle of drinking water for 10 iron nails. Iron nails were pricier than hemp rope, but I couldn't be bothered to adjust the ratio. Either way, no shortage of takers. Nothing else to do, so like everyone else, I cast my line and fished. This round of fishing lasted until dark. Not a single fish. Instead, I reeled up a pile of bizarre stuff. A box of XL condoms, a succubus tattoo sticker, even a never-dying purple toy, just no fish. Me. Along the way, I salvaged 3 chests, all common grade, yielding scattered units of lumber. These junk chests, whoever wants to salvage them can. Less fun than fishing. I meant it. I couldn't reel in a single fish, but that flicker of maybe something insane will bite this time before each cast was exactly what I enjoyed. Whatever came up counted as a win, a mindset that's invincible by nature. By the time it was fully dark, my stomach was empty too. Bread, hot dogs, cola, nothing gourmet, but enough to fill me up. The sea breeze cooled. Sitting on the raft, I actually felt a measure of contentment. Some survival game. I'd fished a vacation out of it. After eating, I stripped down completely and took a shower. A full day in the sun left me coated in sticky sweat. Not washing was unbearable. By the time I finished, the last sliver of dusk had faded. A bright moon hung high, stars twinkling all across the sky, the raft rising and falling with the waves. The whole world was nothing but the sound of the waves. I lay in the center of the raft and gazed up at the sky. How long had it been since I'd seen a starry sky like this? 3 years, or 5. It sounds romantic. It was actually spine-chilling. I had no light. The faint moonlight couldn't illuminate this world made entirely of water. Look in any direction across the vast dark, and it was pitch black. More chilling still was the bottomless sea beneath the raft. In daylight, with the sun, I could see 10 some meters down. I could swim. I had the raft beside me, and the visibility was good. Nothing to panic about. Now it was different. The seawater holding up the raft was black as ink. Below the surface, nothing was visible at all. I wasn't even willing to dangle a hand or foot over the edge. Who knew what kind of surprise this damn survival game had prepared for people like us? Fed and watered as I was, even I felt this uneasy. What about the people who were thirsty and hungry? I couldn't see anything in the water, but the public board had already boiled over. The moment night fell, everyone's fear was magnified. Brothers, I keep feeling like there are tons of eyes in the water staring at me. Drop the I keep feeling like. There really are tons of eyes staring at you. Don't scare me. I think I just saw greenish glowing dots in the water. Heads up, everyone. Plenty of deep-sea predators rise to the surface at night to feed, mostly big, vicious fish. Stay quiet on your boat and move as little as possible. Best way to avoid drawing them in. Bro, I was fine before you said it. Now I'm more scared. One more reminder. Food scraps, the smell of sweat, the smell of blood, they'll all draw them in with pinpoint accuracy. That's it. I just took a dump. Am I gonna attract a big fish? Should have gone on the boat. I watched it and just grinned. Fear is a thing that grows wilder the thirstier and hungrier you get. Too bad it had nothing to do with me. The level 3 sturdy raft was roomy in length and width, and its structure had gone from 2 wrought 10-lashed layers to 3 hemp rope-lashed layers, solid. I saw nothing in the water. The ground under my feet was steady, and that prickly being watched, feeling flickered through at most for an instant. I switched to the trade channel. The bottle of water I'd listed in the afternoon had already brought back 16 iron nails, still 24 short of the 40 the upgrade needed. Leave it up overnight, and by the time I woke it should be about enough. Not many people would sleep soundly tonight, but I wasn't one of them. Still a bit of prep before bed. I took the lumber out of the inventory, planks 1.5 meters long, 10 centimeters wide, 3 thick. I lined them up along the edges of the raft, walling off a safe zone so I wouldn't roll off into the sea if I rolled over in deep sleep. Just missing a pillow. Forget it, deal with that tomorrow. I lay down inside the box of planks, pillowed my arms behind my head, and closed my eyes. As long as I didn't think about the blackness below, The sound of the waves was honestly the finest white noise. The rafts rise and fall plenty hypnotic. I fell asleep. I don't know how long it was before a frantic beep 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 jolted me awake. I opened my eyes. The sky was still dark. It was Zhang Xinyue. I'd set a special alert for her messages. Reaching out at this hour, had she come around? Xinyue, Zhuang Yin, Zhuang Yin. Xinyue, I'll agree. I'm willing to sign, willing to be your crew member. Xinyue, send the contract over fast. I'll sign right now, hurry. Xinyue, boohoo. Zhuang Yin, faster. Xinyue, there are sharks. They're ramming my raft. I'm so scared. I bolted upright. Before I could reply, the next message popped up. Xinyue, the rattan on the outermost log got snapped on one end. The raft's about to come apart. Save me. I don't want to die. I'm begging you. Xinyue, I'll be your crew member. I'll be your private property. Just save me. Xinyue, image. In the photo, the rattan on the outermost log of the simple raft really had snapped on one end. On the sea beyond the raft, 3 broad dorsal fins were circling her. Sharks. I didn't waste a second. I flung the contract over. Zhuang Yin, sign. No reply. A few seconds later, white light flashed before my eyes. Zhang Xinyue was already kneeling in front of me. Both hands braced on the deck, those beautiful eyes still brimming with terror. Under the faint moonlight, the lovely face that was usually so exquisite had been cried into a mess. She came to her senses, saw clearly it was me. Her mouth crumpled, and she threw herself straight at me. I wasn't braced for it, and she tackled me flat. Wah! I was scared to death, scared to death. You didn't reply for so long. I thought I was a goner. Boo-hoo-hoo. She lay sprawled on top of me, wiping all her snot and tears onto my clothes. I felt a little awkward. I'd had one girlfriend, and the most intimate we'd ever gotten was holding hands. This kind of situation I genuinely had no experience with. Not comfort her? No good. From the moment she signed the contract, she was mine. There's no sense in not protecting your own property. I put a hand on her back and patted gently. It's okay. You're safe now. Her crying got quieter and quieter, gradually fading to hiccuping sobs, then stopping. Then it hit her. She was clinging for dear life to a man she'd barely ever spoken to. Eek! She scrambled to get up, planted a foot down, right onto the planks I'd lined up. There was almost no friction between them. She slipped, and her whole body pitched straight back toward me. Mouth to mouth. You wish. Reality is never that convenient. She'd already gotten half her body up, so this fall sent her head diving straight into my stomach. A solid hit would have left me aching for ages. In the nick of time, I tensed my abs. Thud. Her face and my stomach had an intimate encounter. She froze, because she'd flopped right back on top of me again. Sorry. She was so mortified she practically wanted to dive into the sea and tried to climb up again. This time, I didn't let her flail around. I pressed both hands down on her shoulders. Don't rush. Slowly. The instant I gripped her shoulders, her delicate frame shuddered and went stiff for the better part of a minute. Only once she'd confirmed I wasn't planning to do anything did she relax. That face was red beyond words. Luckily, the dark made it hard to see clearly. She finally knelt back down by my legs, pressed her lips together, and said in a hoarse voice, "Thank you." I waved a hand. No need. I'd meant to say, the condition for me saving you is that you serve as my crew, so you don't owe me anything. But then I figured that going forward, her food, water, and shelter all fell to me. By any reckoning, she was the one coming out ahead, so I didn't bother. She didn't know what to say either, and the scene fell quiet. After a minute or so, she suddenly sensed something off. My gaze had been resting on her the whole time. She instantly tensed up again. He wouldn't be wanting to do it right now. I really didn't have that in mind. For one, I wasn't that starved. For two, she'd sweated all day without bathing, and inside and out it was all wrong. Besides, I wasn't even looking at her. I was looking at the system panel. Player, Zhuang Yin, strength 16, plus 8, agility 18, plus 9, endurance 18, plus 9. Talent, pleasure seeker of the seas, effect 1. Each second, randomly gained 2 types of supplies. Contracted crew, 1, Zhang Xinyue. Effect 1 had gone from 1 item per second to 2, and Effect 2 had doubled all my stats. A surge of strength welled up from inside me. I even got the illusion that I could arm wrestle a blue whale out there. An illusion? Of course, just the rush of newly gained power. Check your stats, I said. Huh. I said, look. Fine, looking, why so fierce? She muttered and pulled up her panel. Zhang Xinyue's strength 7, +1, agility 9, +1, endurance 8, +1. My stats, they went up. Her eyes went wide, and she reported it to me, stammering. Good then. I didn't explain, but she'd already figured it all out. Signing the contract raised her stats. This was my talent. The way she looked at me changed in an instant. Tonight, you take watch. She was still riding the excitement and hadn't snapped out of it. Hearing that, her face went white in a flash. Take watch. Face this black sea all by myself. I am scared, boo-hoo-hoo. Equal parts fear and grievance. The tears came right on cue. Oh, still got tears? Guess you're not that thirsty after all. That's what I said, but I fished 2 bottles of water and 2 of cola out of my inventory and dropped them in front of her. While she sat there blinking, a pile of snacks came pouring out too, stacking into a little hill beside her. She stopped crying instantly. Her whole attention got hooked by that mountain of snacks. That's your watch rations. I lay back down in the safe zone. You don't have to eat them, but the watch isn't optional. If you want the workhorse to work, you feed the workhorse first. Not a complicated principle. I'm sleeping. Your job is to keep watch. And while you're at it, watch the public board and note down anything strange tonight. Instructions delivered. I closed my eyes and slept. I honestly didn't think anything would happen to my level 3 boat on the very first night. But when you've got a person on hand to use, why not use them? Besides, just in case. Better safe than sorry. Slept early, woke early. Off in the distance where sea met sky, the faintest glow had just appeared. Zhang Xinyue sat beside me, her eyes bloodshot from staying up, darting around restlessly. The moment I sat up, she turned her face toward me, listless but with a touch of cheer. You're awake. I stretched. Good work. Go sleep. Huh? I can sleep. She blinked, probably having assumed she'd have to tough out a whole day of fishing. Obviously, a person can't go without sleep, can they? I shot her a look. Sleep. I'll wake you at noon. That's what I said. But at yesterday's temperatures, even if she fell asleep instantly, she'd last 3 or 4 hours tops before the heat woke her. I couldn't be bothered with her and opened my inventory to check the night's haul. Dozens more supply types had been added. Apart from the 40 iron nails, every item's count started in the triple digits. All food, drink, and materials. The talent only rolled these. I'd figured that out yesterday. The iron nails, left up overnight, had hit exactly the cap of 40 I'd set. What was I waiting for then? Sturdy raft wooden boat, level 4. Cost: lumber 160, iron nails 40. Upgrade. Please choose an upgrade path. 1. Fishing boat. Personnel aboard gain plus 5% success rate on fishing and salvaging. 2. Pleasure boat. Personnel aboard gain plus 5% recovery rate for stamina and energy. I paused. 2 paths. The leaning's obvious at a glance. The numbers looked small, but with a large enough base? Cast 100 times and net 5 extra catches. Compound that day after day, and it's no small figure. And fishing pulled up a whole pile of things my talent couldn't roll. Maybe go fishing boat, and have Zhang Xinyue fish all day from now on. No, since they'd given a branch, no path would be a dud. Stamina was easy to understand, but what was energy? Would there be combat later? The more I thought, the more it added up. Otherwise, why would the system lay out physical stats so plainly? Wait, even more wrong. I'm a damn pleasure seeker. Why am I racking my brain over this? Every choice I made should put living comfortably as the #1 principle. As long as I had food and drink, what couldn't I trade for? Why agonize over a fishing boat? Recovery rate was the right answer. In the same span of time, more good sleep and more comfort were what did my talent justice. Upgrade. Pleasure boat. Confirm. Pleasure boat. A phantom image of a pleasure boat overlaid the raft, then solidified the next second, swapping out the whole thing. Vessel upgraded. Pleasure boat level 4 contractable crew. 1. Zhang Xinyue was sleeping deeply, with no idea that the boat she'd been serving had just traded up from a musket to a cannon. I looked at this brand new pleasure boat, my mood excellent. It was nearly 3 meters longer than the sturdy raft, and now over 2 meters wide. At the stern stood a sleeping cabin about 2 meters high, Toward the front center sat a sunshade canopy, and both sides of the hull had gained railings and fixed benches. Zhang Xinyue was sleeping between two of those benches right now. At the bow was a small toilet, with waste draining straight into the sea, and my seawater filter had been moved in there too. Quality of life just shot up. I was feeling smug. Golden announcements slammed across the district one after another. Announcement: congratulations to player Zhuang Yin of Zone Z, District K1, the first in the district to upgrade their vessel to level 4. Reward: silver chest ×2. Announcement: congratulations to player Zhuang Yin of Zone Z, District K1, the first to trigger an upgrade branch. Reward: gold chest ×1. The public board erupted once again. It was still in an uproar over those two announcements. First step ahead, every step ahead. No catching up to the big bro this lifetime. Does nobody care about the gold chest? Gold. Care my ass. The point is the upgrade branch. Okay. At Zhuang Yin big bro, what's the deal with the branch? Fill us in. Someone had D me, so I tossed off an explanation. Zhuang Yin. When the sturdy raft hits level 4, the system gives two options: fishing boat or pleasure boat. Different bonuses, just pick by your needs. One stone, 1,000 ripples. Anyone with eyes could see this branch wasn't about preference, but about your direction going forward. Some were even mulling it over. I, the district's #1, had picked the pleasure boat. Did that mean the pleasure boat was stronger? They were overthinking it. Without my talent, how could they guess? I was purely after comfort. Having watched enough of the show, I pulled up the next level's upgrade requirements. Pleasure boat, level 4, small yacht, level 5, required. Lumber 100, iron 300, leather 50, cable 20, battery pack ×1, diesel engine, greater than or equal to 25 horsepower, ×1 contractable crew after upgrade. 1-2. I paused at first, then couldn't hold back the excitement. Lumber, iron, leather were no problem, clearly high-frequency common materials. But the moment cable, battery, and diesel engine showed up, the meaning was crystal clear. Hit level 5 and the boat would have electricity and power. Earlier, someone on the board had talked about adding a sail to a raft, and I hadn't taken it seriously. At my upgrade speed, the raft would be obsolete in a blink. But now, even at a level 4 pleasure boat, the boat could still only drift with the currents. The level 5 small yacht was when it truly evolved into a modern vessel. Not to mention, level 5 let me contract one more crew member. There was no suitable target at the moment, but I could keep the slot ready, so when one came along I wouldn't miss out. And I had a hunch. The reward for being first to reach level 5 was probably more than just a chest upgrade. I dug through the inventory. Lumber, a mountain of it. Iron just over 100. Leather still under 10. Those two only started accumulating after the pleasure boat, so a small count made sense. What I lacked was cable, battery, and diesel engine. Cable shouldn't be hard. Battery and engine, though, were a clean generational break from those earlier primitive materials. Not so easy to come by. List the requests first. On the trade channel, same as before, I used 500 milliliters water as the trade item to collect cable and added a note: buying battery packs and diesel engines at high prices. Listing done, I took out the 2 silver chests and 1 gold chest and set them on the deck. The sun had just peeked over the horizon, orange light hitting the boxes, making them glint. Just as I was about to open them, I held back and put them away. I had a clear-eyed understanding of my own luck godforsaken constitution. I'd wait for Zhang Xinyue to wake, ask whether she was a luck god first, then decide who opened them. After years of gaming, this little bit of superstition I still believed in. I gnawed through 2 slices of bread, downed a bottle of milk, and sat by the gunnel to fish. Obtained: halter bikini, red. Obtained: slippers, macho pink. Obtained: sanitary pads. Obtained: portable folding chair. This is good. Finally something to sit on. Almost 11. A yawn came from over by the canopy. Zhang Xinyue was awake. Eek. Zhuang Yin, the boat upgraded. Her delight was impossible to hide. Call me captain, I said flatly. She choked, then put on a goofy voice and shouted, Captain, probably remembering some movie. She walked toward me, her beige sundress all wrinkled, her flesh-toned tights snagged into a few runs, Her white chunky heels scuffed with black marks. A bit of a sorry sight, but her spirits were high enough. What I found most curious was her attitude. Sleep enough. Slept plenty, full of energy. Her eyes curved up, and she winked at me playfully. I handed over a bottle of milk and a few slices of bread. Eat first, then work. In fact, she hadn't finished last night's pile of snacks. She'd stashed it all in her own inventory. She didn't point that out, just brought her legs together, stood ramrod straight, and bellowed in that weird voice. At your command, Captain. That stunt finally cracked my straight face, and I shook my head and laughed. This girl was strange. I'd heard she never gave any guy at school the time of day. No good face for anyone. Playing weak for supplies yesterday, I could understand. Yet when I wanted to contract her, she still refused. And then in one night, her attitude did a complete 180, and not the fake, swallowing humiliation kind, but like she was actually enjoying it. Let her be. I'm done eating. What are your orders, my lord captain? She brushed the breadcrumbs off her hands. Fish, salvage chests. I raised an eyebrow. As for the rest, when you play games, how's your luck? Huh. She didn't follow. I mean gotcha pulls. The lottery, kind where you draw for stuff. Are you a luck god? Oh, that. She suddenly found her confidence, her eyes lighting up. Talk about luck? I'm a luck goddess. Whatever the banner, pity system or not, I basically pull what I want within 10 draws. For real. Of course for real. Seeing I didn't believe her, she got anxious, but had no proof to offer. Anyway, what I'm saying is true. Her little face flushed red. I laughed. Fine, fine, I believe you. I set the 3 chests in front of her. Since you're so lucky, these 3 are yours to open. She swallowed. 2 silver, 1 gold. In a day in this world, all she'd salvaged were common chests. She'd never seen high-grade goods like these. You're really letting me open them? Hurry. She didn't waste words and started with the silver. Opening silver chest, strength candy, +1. Eat to gain strength, +1 dot. Opening silver chest, stamina candy, +1. Eat to gain endurance, +1 dot. See, I told you my luck's good. She laid the 2 candies out in her palm and held them up to me like treasures. Stack candies. The corner of my mouth twitched. For a moment, I genuinely couldn't tell whether the seawater filter I'd opened was the better haul, or these 2 candies of hers. Keep going. I pocketed the candies. Her confidence even higher now. She flung open the gold chest. Golden light shot skyward. In broad morning daylight, it was bright enough to make you squint. Opening gold chest. Small indoor climate control unit. Once installed aboard, it can hold an indoor space of up to 100 square meters at a set temperature, adjusting in real time to the actual conditions of the personnel aboard. She stared, speechless for a long while. What did you get? She'd opened it. I didn't know the result yet. She turned her neck with effort and pronounced it word by word. Small, indoor climate control unit. I blanked for several seconds too. In this environment, the value of a climate control unit went without saying. It wasn't even noon yet, and the temperature was already racing toward 40 degrees. The pleasure boat had a canopy and a sleeping cabin, but no airflow. The sun-baked hot air seeped into everything, and even the cabin was stuffy. By afternoon, even the upper layer seawater would hit 30-some degrees. Well, isn't it great? Her face screamed praise me. Not bad at all. I smiled, took out 2 bars of chocolate, and handed them over. Reward for you. In the old days, she wouldn't have spared these 2 bars of chocolate a second glance. Now, she happily tucked them into her inventory. Hee, what else do you need me to do? She wanted to earn more merit. I opened my mouth, meaning to say there was nothing for now, but the words changed on my tongue. Go take a shower first and change into these. I pointed to the toilet at the stern and handed her the red bikini I'd just fished up. After a moment's thought, I stuffed the macho pink slippers in along with it. She took them, puzzled, shook the bikini open to look, and her little face flushed crimson. She'd worn plenty of swimsuits, but all conservative one-pieces, and even then she'd drape a scarf over her waist to cover up. This bikini of mine, with its pitifully little fabric, no wonder she was embarrassed. Zhuang, call me Captain. She pursed her lips in secret, then said helplessly, Captain, I'm guessing you've got lots of water, and I'd honestly love a nice shower, But there's no need to burn water on something like this, right? Not refusing outright, finding a legitimate excuse. She had this down pat. You don't need to worry about that. I installed a seawater filter yesterday. Filters the seawater directly, plenty for showering. Huh. She probably hadn't expected the boat to have a seawater filter. The save water excuse collapsed on the spot. She stood there fidgeting. I couldn't be bothered to guess at her little calculations, prompted a go on, hurry, turned, and went into the cabin. The cabin wasn't big. One window on each side, a low bed 1.80 m long, and nothing else. I set the climate control unit in a corner, and it sank, as if into a quagmire, burrowing into the deck on its own. Climate control unit installed. Will adjust to the optimal temperature in real time based on the personnel aboard. The next moment, the cabin temperature dropped in a flash to around 20 degrees. Me? Fine, pretty user-friendly. Knows not to take up space in my cabin and can auto-adjust the temperature. Living up to coming out of a gold chest. Since chests could yield a climate control unit, then the battery and diesel engine the upgrade needed could, in theory, be opened too. The drop rate from low-grade boxes was surely low, but with the survivor base this huge, someone was bound to open one. Worth shouting about on the board. First, the trade channel. The cable collecting line had already reached 11. At this rate, 20 would be full before dark. Battery and engine, though, nobody had left a message. I switched to the board and posted a buy request. Zhuang Yin, buying battery packs, diesel engines. If you've got goods, add me directly. Anyone who can provide leads gets a separate reward. The moment it went out, the board scrolling stuttered. A few seconds of dead silence. Then a string of question marks came surging up like an avalanche. What battery? What diesel engine? A little raft needs those. Why do I feel like I'm not even in the same dimension as Big Bro Zhuang Yin? One look, and you know he's going for a level 5 modern boat. Ahead of us by who knows how many streets. Weary surviving. The big bro's already enjoying himself. A friend request popped up. Du Yiming requests to add you as a friend. This fast. I tapped accept. Du Yiming. Big Bro Zhuang Yin. I've got a lead on a diesel engine here. My heart leaped, but I held the excitement down. Zhuang Yin, speak. If the lead's good, I'll pay the reward. Du Yiming. How would I dare con you? It's definitely good. Diesel engine blueprint, 80 horsepower. Holy crap. The upgrade only required a minimum of 25 horsepower, and right out of the gate this was an 80 horsepower blueprint. Zhuang Yin, sell me the blueprint. Name your price. Du Yiming, 100 bottles of 500 milliliters water plus 200 slices of toast. A wildly inflated price? Or a modest one? It was my first time trading this kind of thing, no precedent to go by. I had a terrifying amount of water and toast, but that didn't mean I'd pay in full. Zhuang Yin, bro, that's a bit dark. 50 bottles of water and 100 slices of toast, and we close right now. Du Yiming. Come on, big bro, slashing it clean in half is too brutal. Zhuang Yin. I'm not the brutal one, you are. 100 bottles of water and 200 slices of bread. How much that's worth right now, I don't have to spell out, do I? Du Yiming. Zhuang Yin. Here's the deal. I can give you 100 bottles and 200 slices. But you have to tell me how you got this blueprint. That question was actually crossing a line. If it were me, it'd be like someone asking why a level 2 raft owner was already stockpiling level 5 materials. I wouldn't tell even if it killed me. Du Yiming. Oh, that. I can say. It's actually my talent. Every 50 chests I open, I randomly get a blueprint. The more rare chests I open, the more valuable the blueprint. Du Yiming. So I really wasn't sky high with the price. Of these 50 chests, 30 some were borrowed from 3 roommates, and I'll have to give them a cut later. Whether he borrowed them or not, I didn't care. What I cared about was the value of his talent. Zhuang Yin, fine. One more condition. Agree and we close immediately. Du Yiming, go ahead. Zhuang Yin, from now on, every blueprint you produce, I take all of them. Any blueprint, save it for me. Each one, I'll buy at 1.3 times market price. A verbal agreement had zero binding force, I knew. So I bought him out at a higher price, part bait, part leash. Once the boat had power, where in this whole ocean couldn't I go? If he was clear-headed, he'd understand. Not today, and from here on he'd have to follow through. Du Yiming. This, big bro, All I don't dare commit to. Aside from what I need for myself, everything else is yours, deal? Zhuang Yen. Done. Deal. And so, that 100 bottles of water plus 200 slices of bread in my inventory, constantly replenishing, was gone, and in its place was one item, the 80 horsepower diesel engine blueprint. Hiss. 80 horsepower. That little beat-up pleasure boat of mine wouldn't just take off? Having the blueprint didn't mean I could build the engine right away. I stared at the blueprint and frowned. Diesel engine blueprint, 80 horsepower, required. Cast iron 5, thick iron plate 5, iron nails 5, rubber 5, leather 5, copper ingot 5, refined steel bar 5. I had leather, the talent could roll iron nails, and I'd seen rubber in the inventory too. But cast iron, thick iron plate, copper ingot, and refined steel bar, those four, I was sure, I had not a single one. Nothing for it, same old rule. List them on the trade channel, water in exchange, and add one more note, buying battery packs. Done with all that. I looked up and only then remembered. Zhang Xinyue had gone into shower. How was she still not out after all this time? I get that girls take time showering. But under these conditions, a shower could hardly count as a luxury. Just rinse off and you're done, no? Just as I was thinking it, a flip-flop of slippers came from the stern. She'd come out. Damn, that figure. A 169 frame, legs straight and long. The red bikini traced a taut waistline, her shoulders and neck clean, curves evenly proportioned, not a trace of excess flesh, the fabric setting off her bright, translucent skin. Slender, but not scrawny. Come here. I heard my own voice drop a register. And my hair's not dry yet. Huh, it's so much cooler inside than out. She made one last struggle, wet hair still clinging to her back. The climate control unit's installed. I paused, then repeated, come here. The original plan had been to save her as tonight's midnight snack. But watching her now, I wasn't going to wait until evening. Besides, who says that if you eat at noon, you can't eat again at night? She opened her mouth but, in the end, said nothing more, obediently sitting down beside me. I took her hand and pulled, just slightly. Wait, it's my first time. 2 hours later, refreshed and clear-headed, I held her in my arms and began contemplating the origin of the universe and the backstory of this damn survival game. Ow, it itches here on my waist. Stop it. She weakly batted my hand away, limp and boneless. I couldn't be bothered with her and went to check the results first. The talent had indeed taken effect. Having gotten intimate with her, I'd copied her talent over. Talent, plant affinity, rank, copy. Plant growth aboard plus 10%. Once daily, can cast accelerated growth over an area. The effect was only half of the original. Better than nothing. I climbed out of bed. I'm going to fish and salvage chests. You rest a bit and watch the public board and the trade channel. While you're at it, buy a few big flower pots and some soil. If there are cheap vegetable and fruit seeds, grab those too, so we've got fresh produce to eat down the line. Also, daily necessities, clothes, bedding, pots and pans, stock up as you see fit. That said, I traded her 1,000 bottles of water and 500 slices of toast directly. By today, I'd figured it out completely. Talent, fishing, chest opening. None of them would ever roll fresh produce. If you wanted to eat vegetables and fruit, you could only grow your own. Those daily necessities I'd long wanted to acquire, just never had the time to hunt down one by one. Now that I had a person, handing it off to her was perfect. On her end, receiving 1,000 bottles of water and 500 slices of bread, she was stunned at first, then answered in a soft, sweet voice. Okay, got it, my lord captain. A world apart from the Zhang Xinyue who'd squeezed out a gritted teeth, thank you yesterday. I shook my head and smiled. I sat on the folding chair, looking like I was fishing, my mind entirely on the panel. On the trade channel, those engine materials were trickling in 1 or 2 at a time. On the battery front, I casually accepted 10 friend requests, chatted a few lines, and one by one they showed their true colors. Either, I have a battery, but the system limits it, so you have to trade the water over first before I can give it, or, I have a lead, but you have to pay the water first before I'll tell you. The same old online game scams. Chatting with them wore on my patience, so I just delegated again. Xinyue, you taking a battery pack too? I called into the cabin and traded over 200 bottles of water. Okay, got it. Don't mix it up. That's for upgrading the boat. Relax. I'll confirm with you before the trade. No mistakes. A few seconds later, her surprised voice came from the cabin. Our boat's upgrading again? Bit of a delayed reaction. But our? I smiled silently. This girl was deep into the role. Materials aren't all gathered yet, but the progress is good. Apart from the battery, everything else can be collected by tomorrow at the latest. Wow, my Lord Captain is so awesome. I kept my eyes on the rod. Obtained. Crotchless body stocking, black. Obtained. Silk lace nightgown, black. Obtained. Beach shorts, men's, floral. Oh, finally something I can wear. I changed into the beach shorts right then and there, much more comfortable. Keep going. Obtained. Watermelon seeds. Exclamation point. Think of something and it comes. Could it be that I've got luck god potential hidden inside me too? An hour later, Zhang Xinyu sidled over. My Lord Captain, get up for a sec. I didn't know what she was scheming, but I got up anyway. Ta-da-da-da. She supplied her own sound effects, pulled something out of her inventory, and spread it open with both hands. It was a bit big, and she was straining, so I gave her a hand. Unfolded, it turned out to be an outdoor folding lounge chair with a sunshade canopy, about 1.33 meters long. Seats 3, no problem. Sit. Grinning, she pressed me down onto it by the shoulders, then settled in right beside me, lay down in one motion, pillowed her head on my thigh, crossed her legs, and swung one little foot back and forth. The whole routine, as natural as if we'd been living together for years. I was a little surprised. Let her be. If she wasn't content with the role of crew member and wanted to get closer to me, I had no objection. How's that? Comfier than that little stool, right? She said smugly. Traded a bottle of water and a slice of bread for it. Not bad, much comfier. I nodded. These things really do need a woman's attention to detail. Oomph. This chair could keep being used through future upgrades and boat changes. One bottle of water and one slice of bread for it was honestly cheap. As for whose hands she'd collected it from and what spiel she'd used, I didn't care. Captain, what level's your fishing rod? She suddenly asked. Huh. I blanked. Then it hit me. The rod and the net could be upgraded, and I hadn't paid it any mind, never upgraded once. Don't tell me you didn't know rods can be upgraded? She was startled. She'd meant to say upgrading boosted the success rate, but glancing at the pile of water and bread I'd just casually tossed her, she lost steam and changed tack. Well, not upgrading is fine. Each level only adds 1% success rate, and if you don't fish every day, there's really no need. Not long after she said it, the system announcement chimed. Announcement: congratulations to player Zhuang Yin of Zone Z, District K1, the first in the district to max out a fishing rod, level 9. Reward: gold chest ×1. You maxed it just like that? She was dumbfounded, and after a long while squeezed out. When you've got the supplies, you're just loaded. Xinyu, max yours too. I tossed over 6,400 lumber, set the rod down, and stopped caring. Huh. She stared. Spending this much lumber, is it worth it? The rod's first upgrade took 25 lumber, doubling each level after. So going from level 1 to maxed at level 9 was 6,375 total. She was already at level 2, so maxing it needed another 6,350. She'd long gone numb to how many supplies I had. She just didn't get why I insisted she max hers too. Each level only added 1% success rate. Terrible value. Of course it's worth it. I tossed over the level 9 rod stats. Automatic fishing rod manual fishing success rate plus 8%. If mounted on the gunnel, can fish automatically. Efficiency minus 30%. She got it at a glance. I didn't care about the success rate. What I wanted was maxed. It could fish automatically and produce supplies on its own. The net could be upgraded too, but unfortunately it took nylon line, which I didn't have, so I set it aside. A moment later, a second rod appeared next to mine. She'd maxed hers too. Captain, we really came here to survive, not to vacation, right? The whole day felt like a dream to her. What do you think? I don't care. From today on I'm here on vacation. She gave a coy little huff, then broke into giggles. I've got to go brag to my bestie. Buy everything I asked you to first. Got it. With an automatic rod, there was no need for me to keep roasting on the deck. The rod fished by itself, and I went back to the cabin and lay down. Once I left, Naturally, Zhang Xinyue didn't stay outside either. The moment she stepped in, the heat wave outside was shut out by the climate control unit, cool air washing over us. My lord captain, don't you feel like something's off? She sounded a little uncertain. I was chewing on something. Chew, what's chew off? What tasty thing are you eating? She scooted over and reached out to pry my chin open. The stat candy you opened from a chest. 2 candies down, my strength, agility, and endurance had hit 17, 18, and 19. So that means you've got even more strength now? Her voice went soft, and as if remembering something, she twisted slightly, then sucked in a cold breath. What's wrong? She pouted, the picture of grievance. It hurts. That little look would break the heart of anyone who heard it and bring tears to anyone who saw it. I rubbed her head. It won't hurt tomorrow. That was already the gentlest thing I could muster. I'm not much good at coddling, and I have no interest in it. What were you saying was off just now? She turned serious. Don't you think? Today seems even hotter than yesterday. Does it? I didn't feel much. With my constitution, since the temperature wasn't jumping in sudden steps, the change wasn't obvious to me. It does, she insisted. If the temperature hadn't changed, then yesterday with no water I should have felt worse than today with water. But just now outside, I clearly felt today was hotter, easier to get thirsty. Could it be, I said indifferently, that you were just hollering too long earlier? Whoosh, her pretty face flushed red in an instant, eyes misting over. I'm talking to you seriously. I'm serious too. I waved a hand. Besides, hot or not outside, as long as it doesn't set the boat on fire, why bother yourself over it? But hotter weather is an opportunity for us, she argued her case. We can use less water to trade for more good stuff. Fine, I'll leave it to you. Decide the small stuff yourself. Report the big items to me first. Leave it to me. Leave it to me, oomph. She gave a coy huff, opened the public board, and muttered under her breath. For this household, I've worked my heart out. I couldn't be bothered to open my eyes, just shut them for a rest. I knew what rising temperatures meant, but I really didn't much care. I'd mulled it over yesterday. To stay ahead and stay comfortable, sooner or later, I'd have to use this per-second supply talent to do some business. But that was work I didn't want to do myself. A pleasure seeker of the seas, grinding away at trade every day. Where's the pleasure in that? Once the boat hit level 5 and the contract slots went +1, I'd find a crew member with a head for business, sign them, dump the operation on her, and play the hands-off boss, just steering the big picture. That was the optimal solution. For now, the only thing on my mind was the matter flagged at the start. Once the 7-day adaptation period was over, what exactly was that special event? Beside me, Zhang Xinyue pressed close, draped a leg over me, hugged my arm, and stared at the screen, smiling nonstop. She wasn't smiling at me. She was chatting happily with someone. Smiling away, she glanced at me, opened her mouth as if to say something, then swallowed the words back. Say it if you want to, I said without opening my eyes. And nothing, really. I didn't press. The physical distance was already as close as it could get. But there were still things she didn't dare bring up. The distance of the heart was, after all, still a bit far. My afternoon naps are never long, half an hour at most. Before I'd even opened my eyes, there was Zhang Xinyue's soft call, a warm puff of air against my ear. Ticklish. Captain. Eat Captain, what are you doing? What state a man's in when he's just woken up? Those who know, know. Half an hour later, her eyes hazy, she gave my stomach a soft, boneless pat. Stop it. I caught the hand that was roaming all over my abs. Provoke me, and you bear the consequences. Okay. Okay. She shivered and quickly withdrew her hand. I actually have real business to tell you about. She told me about her bestie begging for water. Yi Cheng, her childhood friend, her best friend, now nearly dying of thirst, begging me to lend a hand. I frowned. It wasn't that I begrudged the water, it was the name. Yi. A bad habit from reading too many novels. Hearing a surname like Yi plants a thorn in my mind first. Besides, some stranger of a guy bestie. Why should I take care of him? Don't know him, no water. I refused outright. This. She clearly hadn't expected me to be so curt. Captain, Chengqing is really a good person. Help her this once, and she'll definitely repay you down the line. No. Then, Captain, aren't you still recruiting crew? How about Chengqing joins as crew? Is that okay? I only take pretty female crew, not men. Then it's perfect. Chung Chung is pretty and has a great figure. Big chest, slim waist, long legs, super suitable. That wait, you said Yi Chung is a woman. Of course she's a woman. Didn't I say she's my bestie? So it was a woman. I'd been taking it as a guy bestie this whole time. Have her add me. I'll talk to her. Zhang Xinyue rolled her eyes at me, muttering horny ghost under her breath, but did as told anyway. Soon, a friend request popped up. Player Orange requests to add you as a friend. Orange fine. Her name's Yi Chung, not some Yi, surname Big Shot. I accepted. Orange. Hi. I'm Yi Chung, Xinyue's friend. Zhuang Yin. Hi. Orange. This is a bit hard to ask, and I don't want to be a bother to you and Xinyue, but I'm really thirsty right now. From yesterday until now I've only had half a bottle of water. Hot and thirsty, starting to feel dizzy. Could you lend me a bottle of water? I'll definitely pay it back once I recovered. Only half a bottle, most likely someone else's leftover, taken in by her. Pretty rough, indeed. But whether to help or not didn't hinge on how rough she had it. I pulled up her panel. Yicheng, age 21, rating 94, talent, Mechanical Master, S rank. Effect 1. Keen insight into mechanical structures. Can assemble and repair all kinds of machinery. Effect 2. When synthesizing mechanical type blueprints, saves 30% of the specified materials. Effect 3. With sufficient materials, can craft simple structured devices by hand. Holy crap. S rank. Mechanical Master. This game would surely have combat later, and combat meant wear and tear on equipment. Holding an S rank Mechanical Master. How much trouble would that save me? Right now, just those two clauses alone, saving 30% materials when synthesizing blueprints and crafting simple devices by hand, were plenty sweet. As for that shiver business, I had Zhang Xinyue, that was enough. This talent was the real treasure. Zhuang Yin, I can give you water, but there's a condition. Orange, tell me. Zhuang Yin, I'll keep you from dying, and afterward you contract with me and serve as my crew. Her end paused for quite a while. Orange, can we swap the condition? I can do anything else. Zhuang Yin, you're afraid that once you contract over, I'll force you? Orange, no. She denied it verbally, but that reaction was a tacit yes. Zhuang Yin, I promise, if you don't make the first move, I won't touch you. Xinyue can vouch for it. Think it over yourself. After sending it, I stopped pressing. Push too hard, and you get the opposite of what you want. The boat wasn't upgraded yet, so there was only one contract slot. Before upgrading and being able to sign her, all I could do was keep her stable and take it slow. If she died of thirst, heaven knew where I'd find another 90-rated beauty with a talent like this. Sure enough, before long, Zhang Xinyue, mid-purchase on the trade channel, turned her head, her face full of resentment. Captain, that's not fair. I'd seen it coming. The moment that Xinyue can vouch, line went out, she'd come for me. What's not fair? You promised Ching that if she's unwilling, you won't touch her. But you never promised me that. Her little mouth pouted enough to hang an oil bottle. I'd had my answer ready for a while. Let me ask you. That thing, does it feel good? You don't have to answer, I know. Now let me ask, since it's a pleasurable thing, and I don't wait for you to speak up but take the initiative to give you pleasure, isn't that a good thing? Yi Chung has to overcome her own shame and ask me first to get it. You, on the other hand, get it without having to say a word. So tell me, which is the better deal? She sat there with her mouth open, unable to refute it for the longest time. I was secretly pleased. Of course I hadn't actually convinced her. This wasn't hypnosis. But having said all that, my stance was laid bare too. I could give her face when it came to the mood on the boat, but don't forget your status, and don't get spoiled and arrogant about it. She probably came around to the logic of living under someone else's roof, gave a huff, and turned back to her grand purchasing enterprise. 10 minutes later, Yi Chung replied, Orange. Okay, I'm willing to sign a contract with you. Settled. I sent the contract over. Zhuang Yin, read the contents first. You can sign directly later. Orange, Can I sign now? Zhuang Yin, can't be done. This is my talent. I just signed Xinyue last night, still on cooldown. The truth was, drag it out longer, and even without that promise she'd eventually cave. Flesh is never as precious as life. What I feared was an accident during the gap before the contract. Last night's Zhang Xinyue was the living example. If I'd slept a little more soundly, she might really have become fish food. I traded Yi Cheng a bottle of water and 2 slices of bread, then added 200 lumber and 20 hemp ropes. Zhuang Yin, upgrade your raft a bit first. That photo of the shark ramming the raft last night was still fresh in my mind, and I didn't want her ending up in a fish's belly. Orange. Okay, thank you, Captain. Not even aboard yet, and the form of address had already changed. Sensible. Back on the board, I scrolled through a few battery buying messages. The Maxtrod thing hadn't been long ago, and the moment I surfaced, I drew another crowd. Only they didn't care about batteries. They were all after the level 9 rod. Big bro, what special effect does the level 9 rod have? Maxing it takes 6 or 7,000 lumber, right? Is it actually worth it? Did you upgrade your net? Give us a recommendation. Their attitude was decent, so I tossed off a pointer. Zhuang Yin, if you're not short on lumber and can max it in one go, do it. If you can't scrape together that much, honestly, just use the level 1 rod. The automatic fishing part, I didn't mention. The more people burn their time fishing, the better for me. Looking back, Zhang Xinyue had already tidied the cabin inside and out into proper shape. Convincingly realistic fake flowers hung on the cabin wall, a toothbrush and cup set on the washstand, a dining table set up under the canopy. Finally, she even shooed me off the low bed onto the folding chair, saying she had to make the bed. By the time she finished, it was nearly dark. I went into the cabin and looked. Red sheets, red duvet cover, red pillowcases. Whoa, does it have to be this festive? Humph. She turned her face away, putting on an air of reserve. Right then, the special alerts beep 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 sounded. The only one who could trigger it was Yi Cheng. Don't let it be another shark-type emergency. Right now, there's no way to bring you over. Orange, Captain, I see both you and Xinyue have listings buying battery packs. You need them urgently, right? Zhuang Yin, for upgrading the boat. You have some. Orange, nope. I just wanted to make a suggestion. If you can't get a ready-made battery pack, you can buy several single cells of the same voltage, pair them with a few copper cables, string them together. And isn't that a battery pack? Single cells are much easier to get. Several people on the trade channel are selling them. Zhuang Yin. Orange. What's wrong? Doesn't that work? Zhuang Yin, no. Thanks. Orange. I'm your crew. It's the least I can do. I silently tossed her a bottle of cola as a reward and nearly wanted to slap myself twice. I'd seen sellers of single cells too, and somehow hadn't thought of series wiring. The system never hard-coded that it had to be a ready-made pack. As long as it could charge and discharge, that was enough, no? Why was I overcomplicating it? I bought 4 of the 24 V cells on the spot and bumped the cable order up by another 10. For the engine materials, I was down to just the last refined steel bar, which meant, if things went smoothly, I could hit level 5 tonight. Just as I was wiring the cables to the 4 cells, a waft of fragrance drifted over. Dear Lord Captain, dinner time. The table was set. 2 seared, fragrant steaks, a plate of pasta and tomato sauce, a soup made from who knows what, 2 glasses of red wine, and in the center a lobster I couldn't name, garnished with a few slices of lemon and a sprig of parsley. Whether it tasted good was another matter, but the presentation was genuinely impressive. Xinyue likes Western food? Not really. Just felt like Western food today, that's all. The gold red of the setting sun fell on her face, even gilding the loose hair at her temples with a layer of warm light. Her lashes cast fine shadows, her lips a natural rosy pink, the smile lingering. In that moment, I nearly froze, dazed. This pretty? She was very satisfied with this dazed look of mine. Only later did I learn she'd spent half an hour scouting cosmetics on the trade channel and another half hour doing her makeup. Can we start? Wait, she said urgently. Drink first. She raised her wine glass, her jade arm reaching across the center line of the table, her eyes full of expectation. A toast clink? She could reach, no need for that. I picked up my glass, extended my arm forward, then hooked it back, intertwining with hers. The wine slid down her throat, and rosy clouds flew across her little face. Hard to tell if it was the sunset, the red wine, or embarrassment. By the way, do Westerners do the crossed arm wine thing? I asked casually. Huh. She froze, probably unable to fathom how I could ask something so mood-killing in this kind of atmosphere. Teasing you. I smiled. Xinyue, you put a lot of thought into this. She lowered her head, not quite daring to meet my gaze. She was still wearing that red bikini. She'd clearly bought other clothes already and just wouldn't change. My guess was she figured I preferred this set. She wanted to make up for the courtship stage we'd skipped, and I could read those little intentions of hers pretty well. She wanted a romantic dinner, so I'd keep her company through it. The sunset was perfect. It even saved us the candles. As long as she stayed in line, I could treat her well, but a simp, I would not be. I never had been, and I never would. After dinner, a sky full of stars. She nestled against me, and we lay on the deck together, gazing up at the ink-blue night sky. At this hour yesterday, she was still fretting over water, then got scared half to death by sharks. Now she had a man she could rely on beside her, and not a trace of that hardship remained. My lord captain, when are you planning to bring Chengqing over? Do you want her here early or late? I didn't answer directly, asking her back instead. She was clearly torn. I could guess at those little intentions, both hoping her bestie would come and suffer less, and afraid her bestie's arrival would split me away. But in the end she sighed. I want her here early, so she suffers less. Fine then now. Huh? Now's okay. Surprised and delighted. In the afternoon, Yi Cheng had told her my talent was on cooldown, so she'd probably been bracing to wait until the small hours. The cable I'd topped up in the afternoon and the last refined steel bar were exactly enough. I pulled the buy listings and synthesized the engine first. Diesel engine, 80 horsepower, materials satisfied. Confirm synthesis? Confirm. Synthesis complete. In the inventory, an 80 horsepower diesel engine quietly appeared. Upgrade. Pleasure boat, level 4. Small yacht, level 5. Required. Lumber 100, iron 300, leather 50, cable 20, battery pack 1, diesel engine 1. Materials satisfied. Confirm upgrade? Confirm. A phantom of the yacht draped down and quickly solidified. Vessel upgraded. Small yacht level 5, contractable crew. 2. Whoa, Zhang Xinyue gasped aloud. When she'd arrived, she'd only upgraded to a simple raft, and canoe to raft was nothing but a flash of gray light. She'd never seen a display like this. Just then, the deck that had held only moonlight was suddenly lit up white. The boat's built-in lights. Finally some lights. I was relieved too. For someone from a modern city, no lights at night is genuinely miserable. Those days were over. Yay, amazing. Zhang Xinyue was so thrilled she wanted to jump, but couldn't bear to leave me, and with a chest full of joy and nowhere to put it, she just cupped my face and peppered it with a dozen-plus little kisses. The golden announcement slammed down at the same time. Announcement: congratulations to player Zhuang Yin of Zone Z, District K1, the first in the district to upgrade their vessel to level 5. Reward: gold chest times 1. Right after, Yi Cheng's message popped up. Orange: Captain, you hit level 5. Amazing. Zhuang Yin: sending the contract now. Come on over to. A flash of white light, and Yi Cheng arrived on the boat. The two girls hugged on the deck and cried their hearts out. Heartbreaking to hear, tear-jerking to see. I left them to it, let them vent, and went to tour the newly upgraded boat myself. Same word, boat. But this time the change was even bigger than canoe to raft. Before the upgrade, it was a primitive, powerless wooden boat. After, a modern powered steel vessel. Things from two different eras. The hull had grown again, now 13 or 14 meters long and around 5 wide. Painted white all over, every light blazing, like a pearl on the pitch-black sea. The first room above deck was the wheelhouse. Not much space, but fully equipped, except that row of levers, buttons, and complex instruments, of which I couldn't understand a single one. Behind it was the lounge cabin, like a living room at home. 2 built-in induction cooktops, 2 small sinks, a sofa, a table, and a half-unrolled projection screen on the cabin wall. A ladder in the corner led to the lower deck. The lower deck had 2 living cabins, a shared bathroom, and a small door in the wall leading to the engine room. With conditions like these, living's pretty comfortable now. I was satisfied, then couldn't help my curiosity. If level 5 is like this, what about later? Maxed out, is it straight up a giant luxury cruise liner? I twisted the sink tap to test it. After some gurgling, clear water gushed out. I dabbed a bit to taste, and it was fresh. During the upgrade, the seawater filter had auto-connected. Effortless. Just then, the pair of sisters from the deck came in too. Whoa, Captain, it's so cool in here. The one speaking was Yi Chung, also a pretty girl. White tee, light blue denim hot pants, little white shoes, a pair of white knee socks with a run in them. Very youthful. These past 2 days she hadn't eaten or slept well, so her condition was off. Otherwise her looks were no less than Zhang Xinyue's. And she had one area where two Zhang sinews tied together couldn't compare. I took one glance, and 4 characters surfaced in my mind. Capacious is great. Every indoor space has a climate control unit, holding the temperature at the most comfortable level, I explained. I opened it from a chest, you know. Impressive, right? Zhang Xinyue immediately swooped in to claim credit. Really? Impressive, impressive. Yi Cheng still had a good eye, supplying the emotional value right on time. Yi Cheng's tired, surely. There are 2 living cabins below. Xinyue, get her something to eat, and pick a room for her to rest in. Instructions delivered. I turned to head for the wheelhouse. A captain who can't even drive his own boat. How does that work? Captain, Zhang Xinyue called me back. That one note was so saccharine that goosebumps instantly rose on Yi Cheng's arm, her almond eyes going wide. I turned back. What is it? Tonight I want to sleep with Ching Ching. Is that okay? The picture of grievance. What's not okay about that? I was baffled. You don't need to report things like that to me. I waved a hand and went off to the wheelhouse on my own, only to be stumped the moment I walked in. A console full of buttons, no manual, just an icon each. And who the hell knew which one matched which function? Have me guess? Of the whole control panel, the only things I recognized were the 2 screens and the wheel. Looks like I still need to find someone who can drive a boat, I mulled. Ask Yi Chung tomorrow. She's a mechanical master. Driving a boat has to be at least adjacent to that. Also, the materials for the next level need stockpiling now. Small yacht, level 5. Medium yacht, level 6. Required. Lumber 300, iron 500, leather 150, cable 50, diesel engine, greater than or equal to 80 horsepower, times 1. Marine hydraulic transmission assembly times 1 contractable crew after upgrade. 2-4. I scratched my head. The engine was no problem. Du Yiming's 80 horsepower blueprint was still here. Gather the materials and synthesize another one. But this marine hydraulic transmission assembly, what the hell was that? Ask me which game character hits hardest or which figurine's worth the most, and I'm crystal clear. Ask me about the internal structure of a medium yacht, total blank. Listed on the trade channel first. I had no hope of getting this thing for a few bottles of water, so I listed it and would ask Yi Chung tomorrow. A mechanical master surely could not know it. I set the ratio to 1-4, 1 water, with a note to add me as a friend to discuss. Honestly, even if the other party opened with thousands or tens of thousands of bottles, I didn't care. After contracting Yi Chung, I produced 3 types of supplies per second, 24 hours a day. That's 259,200 items. Water, bread, lumber, things others treat as their lifeline, are the least valuable things to me. Whoever's willing to trade a transmission assembly, let them come out a little ahead. What of it? Those 2 gold chests in my inventory, I still hadn't had time to open. I switched to the public board, and it was last night's tune again, wailing and screaming. Holy crap, there's a shark. A tentacle thicker than my arm reached up onto the raft, almost touched my foot, scared the daylights out of me. Something's ramming under my raft. Boo-hoo-hoo. Not far off, a big fish as long as 2 train cars suddenly leaped out and crashed back into the sea. The wave nearly flipped me over. My brows knit tighter and tighter. Same talk of things in the water, but tonight's were bigger than last night's by more than a notch. The shark that nearly took Zhang Xinyue's life yesterday, in the mouths of tonight's crowd, only qualified as a little cutie. This was only the second night. By the opening notice, the first 7 days were the tutorial, difficulty rising daily. After 7 days, what else could crawl out of the sea? Factor in that clueless special event, too. The more I thought, the less footing I had. No good. The boat was only a dozen some meters now. If a giant sea monster really showed up, there was no way it could hold. Within 7 days, I had to at least pile the boat up to 200 or 300 meters. Friendly reminder, the current vessel can install modules. See vessel details. Open. Installable modules 1. Hot water circulation. Links the seawater filter and climate control unit to supply hot water. Needs: copper ingot 5, rubber 5, rigid water pipe 10, water tank 1. 2. Climate-controlled preservation. Links the climate control unit for zone preservation, adjustable temperature. No extra materials needed. Just designate the zone. 3. Early warning. Repulsion. Identifies medium to large organisms within 20 meters of the boat. Linked to battery discharge for repulsion. Needs: cable 10, small sonar sensor 1. 4. Smart control. Installs an AI chip for autopilot, whole boat voice control, and a smart assistant. Needs: AI chip 1, circuit board 3, cable 20. Not bad. I listed all the materials for the 4 modules on the trade channel in one go. The warning and smart modules I couldn't gather for a while. Hot water circulation wasn't hard. Climate-controlled preservation was even simpler. Grab a few sealed boxes, mark off a zone, and you've got a fridge. By common sense, hot water needs solar power or engine waste heat, and refrigeration needs a chiller. But I had the climate control unit. Done in one step, the complicated stuff simplified right away. This round, that gold chest climate control unit from before had done major work. It was just that small sonar sensor. No telling when I'd get hold of one. Before it was in hand, if I really ran into a big one, my constitution. After contracting Yi Cheng, I was already at strength 25, agility 27, endurance 28. An ordinary adult tops out around 10. I'd long left the human category behind. But even so, I didn't think I could arm wrestle those colossi in the water. The threat in the water, at this stage, was absolutely not to be taken lightly. Thud! A dull boom came from the starboard side. Flip-flop, flip-flop, hurried footsteps came from the cabin. In nightgowns and slippers, Zhang Xinyue and Yi Cheng ran up onto the deck and stood beside me. "Captain, is it a shark?" We heard the sound. Zhang Xinyue's voice trembled. After that one night, her fearing sharks was normal. "It's not a shark." I shook my head. "It's a fish I've never seen, not even on TV. Most likely a specialty of this game world." Huh. The two leaned over the railing to look down. Just then, that thing rammed the hull again, a dull boom. It really isn't a shark." Yi Cheng's expression changed. Zhang Xinyue quickly clapped a hand over her mouth too. And you couldn't blame them. That thing in the water was, indeed, bizarre enough. A little over 3 meters, at first glance like a grouper. But its head was a patch of ashen white, skinless, nothing left but a heavily calcified skull. 2 blood-red eyeballs bulged from their sockets, brimming with bloodthirst. Its wide mouth, worked by black-purple muscle, kept opening and closing, bearing fangs the same color as the skull. Behind the ashen fish head was a heavily rotted body, with only a few strands of half-shed decaying flesh still attached, drifting in the water as it swam. The body was densely studded with barnacle-like parasites, squirming ever so slowly. One look and you knew. Aggression maxed out. "You, so gross," Zhang Xinyue chimed in. But, as long as it wasn't the shark that had scarred her, she actually loosened up quite a bit. And it really wasn't much of a threat. The hull's waterline sat 1.80 meters below the deck, plus 1.2 meters railing. It was like a wall of safety around us. As long as we didn't go courting death and jump into the water, these monster fish couldn't get up. "Captain, you've worn yourself out all day. Go sleep," Zhang Xinyue said. "I'll keep watch tonight, and have Cheng Cheng relieve me in the second half." "I'll take the first half. Yue rest first," Yi Cheng put in. I didn't respond. No rush. I opened the trade channel, found batteries, and snapped up every one whose price wasn't outrageous. The two were still puzzling over why I'd suddenly spaced out when, a second later, a dozen-plus battery cells appeared on the deck. "Captain, what are the batteries for?" Zhang Xinyue didn't get it. I then tossed the cable I'd collected onto the floor too. Yi Cheng's almond eyes turned, and she lit up all at once. "Good method, it'll definitely work." That exclamation of hers left Zhang Xinyue even more lost. How come both of them got it, and only she didn't? Her pretty face puffed up in a sulk. "I'm going to kill them," I said calmly. Electrofishing. On Earth, this was unethical and illegal. Severe cases meant jail time. But here, it was a survival game. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought of using electricity normally. It was that repulsion module prompt earlier that tipped me off. The module couldn't be installed for now, so as a stopgap, I jury-rig it the crude way. Captain, I'll help you. Yi Cheng crouched down beside me and wired things up with me. Zhang Xinyue didn't know how to do this and could only handle emotional value. Captain, your brain works way too well. I couldn't help a wry laugh. Don't know yet if it'll work. Let's test first. In a few minutes, 14 cells were strung together. Each was 24V for a total of 336V, lethal to the overwhelming majority of things in the sea. I didn't trust the cable, so between every 2 cells I doubled the connection to 2 strands. Yi Cheng knocked together a simple switch? For a mechanical master, dealing with electrical work was no big deal. She didn't hesitate. Sure, give me planks, copper, rubber. After the upgrade, the talent was already rolling copper ingots and rubber, with 100 or 2 of each sitting in the inventory. I traded her 50 of each. She brought her palms loosely together, and a faint blue light glowed in them. After about a minute, she handed over a knife switch, a long wooden handle wrapped in insulating rubber on the outside, so you wouldn't get shocked opening or closing it. Nice. I wired the switch into the circuit and flung both the positive and negative extension lines into the sea. Captain, mind your safety, Yi Cheng reminded me. The 16mm superscript 2 wire, under 10 meters total, could carry over 150 amps at 336V. Best not to discharge continuously for more than 5 seconds. Is 5 seconds enough to electrocute them? Zhang Xinyue asked blankly. Those monster fish are only 3.5 meters. By rights, 3 seconds is fatal. I smiled. Even if they're freaky, go to 5 seconds. It's a lock. Finally, I took 2 copper ingots as ballast, tied them to the positive and negative lines, and threw them into the sea. 2 plops. All right, you 2 step back. Captain, let me do it instead, Yi Cheng suddenly said. You and Yuewa wait at the back. Zhang Xinyue, we're not even sisters. Why are you the one constantly performing? Be good. I waved a hand, my own hand already gripping the switch. Yi Cheng pressed her lips together and pulled the still bewildered Zhang Xinyue back 3 meters. I drew a deep breath and slammed the handle down. The circuit closed, and all 14 cells discharged at once. The seawater around the 2 copper ingots instantly erupted in dense white bubbles, white mist rising. 1, 2, 3. I lifted the handle. Discharge over. The 2 hurried back to my side. How is it? How is it? Did it work? Zhang Xinyue asked anxiously. You didn't smell it? Smell what? Bleach. I smiled. Why is there a bleach smell? Her face was the picture of clear, innocent stupidity. The salt in the seawater gets electrolyzed and produces chlorine gas. That's the smell Yi Cheng put in. Oh, this. Zhang Xinyue froze. A humanities major, she'd handed her middle school chemistry back to the teacher long ago. Inside, another wave of that left-out bitterness probably welled up. Let's check the results. The 3 of us leaned over the railing. The once clean sea surface was now covered with fish big and small, bellies up. Those monster fish didn't escape either. All of them had turned belly white. Dead as dead could be. The next second, an announcement sounded in all 3 of our ears at once. Congratulations to player Zhuang Yan of District K1. Your vessel has, for the first time, killed a level 4 contaminated organism, the mutant grouper. Reward, platinum chest ×1. That announcement only sounded in our 3 ears, not broadcast district-wide. As for those hideous mutant groupers, they didn't matter. What mattered was a platinum chest. Tada! I set the 2 gold chests and 1 platinum chest on the deck. Xinyue, it's your turn to perform. That bit of dejection of hers just now, I'd taken it all in. Letting her open the chests was acknowledging her value, and also easing her mind. A crew member's mental health was part of a qualified captain's duties too. Yi Cheng's mouth fell open beside us, her eyes darting between me and Zhang Xinyue. The girl probably hadn't expected Zhang Xinyue to have earned this much trust from me. Yi Cheng want to try too? Huh? And no. She quickly waved it off. If you wanna next time. These 3 I've said go to Xinyue. I shrugged. Open them. Gold 1 first. She rubbed her hands and flung open the first gold chest. Golden light burst out, very strong. A good drop. My heart jumped. Huh. This one should be really useful. Captain, look. She didn't linger over it and traded it straight to me. Toxic sea vine seeds. Toxic sea vine, a level 6 mutant plant. Originally ordinary seaweed. mutated by contamination. Highly toxic throughout, covered in spines, extremely tough, grows extremely fast, with outstanding regeneration. Those pierced suffer muscle paralysis in as little as 30 seconds, and respiratory failure and death within 3 minutes. Planting, scatter the seeds on a hull soaked by seawater, and the vine will attach and grow wildly. Depending on nutrient absorption, it can reach up to 100 meters. The description didn't spell it out, but anyone who read it understood. This was an uncomplaining, all-weather vessel guard. Haha, now we can sleep easy. Overjoyed, I scooped her up and planted a hard kiss on her little mouth. I shared the info with Yicheng. You can think of it as our guard. I was just worrying about where to get a sonar and install the warning module. Now with this thing, the module can wait. I'm impressive, right? Zhang Xinyue's little face flushed. Impressive, Xinyue's the most impressive. Come on, next one. She flung open the second gold chest. The golden light was weaker. Drop rarity was proportional to the strength of the light, which she now understood too, and a flicker of disappointment crossed her little face. I thought it was normal. If they let you open top tier every time, would the operator still turn a profit? Advanced Stat Candy, a sharing pack, contains 5 small pouches, 1 candy each. Eating 1 grants +1 to all 3 physical stats. Takes effect only once per person. I tore it open on the spot, gave the 2 of them a pouch each, chewed 1 myself, and stowed the remaining 2. The candy down, my strength rose another notch. Captain, this is too precious, maybe we should. Yicheng, having read the description, instinctively tried to decline. Quit yapping, eat it. I was firm. Stats on you means working for me down the line. Would I make a losing deal? Zhang Xinyue had long since swallowed hers. All stats +1, smiling with her eyes curved up. Yicheng looked at my face, then at Zhang Xinyue's crescent moon eyes, sighed, and opened hers and ate it too. Blueberry flavor, pretty tasty. Good. Last one, the platinum. Open. She flicked open the platinum chest. A pillar of light, gold tinged with orange, shot skyward, straight up into the clouds. The 3 of us instinctively looked up to see where it landed, but couldn't see the top. Holy crap. Holy crap. I swallowed. So this was the prestige of platinum? Quick, what did you get? She snapped out of it and handed it over without a close look. Designated space module, buffet restaurant. Installable anywhere on the boat, appearing as a door. Inside the door is an independent space offering a richly varied buffet, unlimited quantity, auto-replenishing as food is taken, but nothing can be removed. No limit on number of people, no limit on time. I paused, a bit let down. The first platinum, and it opens this? Captain, what's wrong? Zhang Xinyue got anxious too. This was the first platinum. If it was bad, she'd surely be scarred. It's not that it's bad, just see for yourselves. I shared the info. Seems like it really isn't that useful. Zhang Xinyue's mood plummeted, her eyes even rimming red. Captain, I'm sorry, I let you down. My heart softened. I hadn't meant to blame her at all. If I'd been the one to open it, I might not have gotten anything good either. It's fine, don't beat yourself up. I rubbed her head. It's a lottery, after all. How could luck always be on our side? Right then, Yicheng suddenly spoke up timidly. Captain, Yue, didn't you 2 get something wrong? Huh. The 2 of us looked at her. She drew a deep breath and said earnestly, with this module, we'll never fret over food and drink again. That value. And it doesn't deserve platinum? It's a good thing, but it doesn't seem to deserve platinum, right? Zhang Xinyue wouldn't let it go. Hey, Yicheng got worked up. An unlimited daily buffet. Do you 2 not understand what that means in this game? Apart from the captain who can make infinite water and grain, who out there isn't carefully rationing every mouthful of water and bread. For words, no worries about food and drink. How could that not deserve a platinum chest? After she put it that way, I came around too. This buffet restaurant really was a treasure, priceless on the market. Oh no, wait. Right now nobody could even afford it at all. If there was a problem, you could only blame it on landing in the hands of a monster like me. New supplies every second, inexhaustible. Compared to that urgently needed toxic sea vine. Only then did it look not so precious. So the restaurant wasn't wrong. The one who was wrong was me. Maybe trade it for something? I half muttered. I'll go with what the captain says. Zhang Xinyue spoke up first, but Yi Ching shook her head. I'd suggest keeping it for our own use. We may not fret over food and drink, but having varied, stable meals every day is a fine thing too, isn't it? Variety? Did it matter? Oh, it actually did. Most of what my talent rolled was snacks, with few that could serve as staples. The occasional snack was fine, but eating them every day, even I couldn't take it. The restaurant, however bad, beat gnawing on bread. Right, I'm a pleasure seeker. I made the call. Keep it for our own use. I took out the toxic sea vine seeds and scattered them along the hull as instructed. The seeds slid down the side of the hull, and just as my heart did a flip, they latched on firmly once they fell below the waterline. A few seconds later they broke their shells, purple sprouts growing wildly. I quietly used the plant affinity I'd copied from Zhang Xinyue on it. The sea vine instantly shot up to over 2 meters. Roots anchored below the waterline, yet it didn't harm the hull. The blue-purple vines rose and fell with the waves, beautiful and eerie. Xinyue, here's another chance to perform. I pointed at the sea vine in the water. Use your talent. My talent. She blanked. Then her beautiful eyes burst with delight. The talent she'd always considered junk was exactly what worked on the sea vine. A full-effect plant affinity went on, and the sea vine shot up to over 4 meters. Now its movements could be seen clearly. The vine slowly wrapped around the electrocuted fish corpses on the surface one by one, like wrapping zongzi. A few minutes later, the white fish bellies within 4 meters of the boat were all gone. Haha, I'm useful too. Zhang Xinyue nearly jumped, then dove into my arms. Hee, Captain, you saw that, right? From now on, I'm useful too. Captain, how did you know what my talent is? She got puzzled again. I patted her back and walked her toward the cabin, an arm around her. I'm the captain. What else could there be that I don't know? Something must have crossed her mind, because her little face flushed red again in a flash. Yi Cheng, nothing more for today, go rest. I didn't forget to address her. That night, Zhang Xinyue still slept with Yi Cheng, and I had a room to myself. Right up to the minute before I fell asleep, I could still hear the two of them whispering next door. The next day, I woke first. The two girls next door were still sleeping soundly. I first installed last night's buffet restaurant module, picking the empty spot by the stairs. Once installed, the buffet restaurant cannot be reclaimed, but its position can be changed. Confirm? Confirm. Had I known the position could be changed, I wouldn't have had to deliberate so long. A flash of white light on the cabin wall, and a wooden door embedded itself in. I pushed the door open and walked in, then paused. Damn, a space over 50 meters long and wide, 7 or 8 high. White porcelain buffet counters stood neatly along the left and center, chafing dishes, serving pans, and soup tureens side by side. The right was the dining area with tables and chairs. From Chinese breakfast items to Western desserts, everything was there, and the innermost few counters were all fresh fruit, in a frightening variety. Looks like Xinyue's talent won't need to go toward growing vegetables and fruit for now. Remembering how, when I'd first looked at her talent, I'd planned to have her grow vegetables, I had to laugh. At least the talent wasn't wasted. As long as she was on the boat, the sea vine's growth was accelerated, plus once a day, she could give it a major boost. I casually grabbed 3 youtiao, a bowl of soy milk, and a boiled egg, and picked the spot nearest the door to sit. I'd never lived the rich man's life, so with 200 or 300 dishes laid out before me, this was all I took. The youtiao were good, the soy milk richly fragrant, the egg, the yolk was tasty, but why was its color so deep? Some kind of organic egg? Mid-meal, footsteps came from the doorway. Wow, it's so big in here. Zhang Xinyue. Yeah, hard to imagine a restaurant like this hidden behind a door. Yi Cheng. I looked back and paused. The two stood arm in arm in the doorway. Zhang Xinyue had changed out of the red bikini into a red one-piece swimsuit with large cutout sections, bearing her whole midriff, white over-the-knee socks on her legs. Yi Cheng wore the blue lace-up bikini Zhang Xinyue had prepared for her last night. One sweet and alluring, one spirited and sharp, both top-tier, one in a million. Captain, Zhang Xinyue came over arm in arm with Yi Cheng to wheedle. You didn't even call us, just ran off to eat all by yourself. Yi Cheng's eyes brimmed with a smile. Good morning, Captain. I shot Zhang Xinyue a look. Your crew, you got up later than me. And you've still got the nerve to call me out? Then I smiled at Yi Cheng. Morning. There are 200 some kinds of food here. You're hungry, go on. Yi Cheng's eyes lit up, and she pulled Zhang Xinyue off to get food. Last night she should have had something to eat, but the mutant grouper had thrown things off, so back in the cabin she'd made do with snacks. Getting a proper meal now made her pretty happy. Watching those two figures, I had that falling into a dream feeling once again. How others had been living before this game, I didn't know. But I knew that I'd certainly been living worse before than now. By the time they came back with their food, I'd already finished eating. I'll head out, take your time. I stood. In a bit, Xinyue, boost the sea vine first, then rearrange the home again. The boat can install modules now. I'm authorizing you. Handle the materials as you see fit. Yi Cheng, come find me in the wheelhouse when you're done eating. That said, I turned and left the restaurant. The word home had slipped out of my mouth on instinct, without thinking. But once it was out, I caught its flavor. In my subconscious, this boat had indeed become home. For a good long while to come, at least, there was no way we could leave this survival game world. Earth itself was gone. Sitting in the wheelhouse, an inexplicable wave of bewilderment surged up in my heart. The rest of this life, just drifting on the sea like this? Captain, a crisp voice came from behind me. Yi Cheng's here. I stepped back 2 paces and gave her the front of the console. Take a look. Can you make sense of this stuff? She stepped up and stood there, and after about half a minute said earnestly, a bit complicated. Give me some time to study it. Shouldn't be a problem. Really? That's great. I was overjoyed. Until we get smart driving working, you're the helmsman. Helmsman? More than that. She chuckled. I'm also the engineer. Why she held both jobs I didn't get, but as long as the boat could get moving, it was fine. Thanks for the work. Raise any requests anytime. 3 days adrift, and I was genuinely sick of it. Even if the whole planet was sea, with the boat moving, there'd be at least a bit of freshness in my heart. Then please, Captain, collect some fuel first. She tapped the fuel gauge. The tank's empty. No problem. Any other requests? None for now. I was about to go when I suddenly remembered something. Your talent can handcraft simple machinery, right? A smoothbore gun. Can you make one? Smoothbore gun? What's that? She blanked. If the structure's simple, it should be doable. A very old firearm with a very low threshold. I smiled. The core is just 4 parts. Barrel, action, stock, and firing mechanism. Simple. I'd actually researched this thing. If it weren't for the law, you could order materials online and assemble one yourself on Earth. Now there was no online shopping, so I couldn't manage it, but Yi Cheng definitely could. The difficulty wouldn't be much higher than that knife switch of hers last night. I had no paper or pen, so I first scrounged some from the trade channel, planning to draw it for her. Unfortunately, I'd never studied drawing. My hand shook so badly I couldn't even draw a straight line, and all I could do was pile on labels. Barrel from iron and copper, firing mechanism from spring, steel ball, and flint, stock whittled from wood. In a dozen some minutes, I handed her the drawing. The more Yi Cheng looked, the tighter her brows knit. What, can't make it? She shook her head, her expression serious. Captain, I can make it, but I don't recommend it. Why? One hand holding the drawing, the other on her hip, she leaned slightly forward, because it'll explode. With that motion, a deep, bottomless cleavage was naturally squeezed out at her chest. Unavoidable. I made one last struggle. I knew there was a barrel burst risk, but I thought that S-rank talent of hers could smooth it out. It's mainly the materials that won't do. She shook her head. I can keep the risk as low as possible, but I can't get it to 0. As long as there was a barrel burst risk, the thing couldn't be used. One blast and the shooter was injured or maimed. Forget it then. I shrugged, left only to try my luck on the trade channel. But these 2 days, the trade channel hadn't shown a single gun. Captain, you want this to kill the mutant organisms in the sea? Not really, just better safe than sorry. When the idea first came up, there were no mutant organisms yet. If I really had to deal with the things in the water, right now the toxic sea vine and that battery pack were enough. I just figured it might come in handy down the line. If it really won't work, I'll make something else as a substitute. She pressed her lips together. Shorter range and weaker power, but it wins on safety. Oh, what? Secret for now. I got chased out of the wheelhouse and got a pile of supplies scooped out of me too. Fine. I gave them myself. She needed to buy materials for her secret weapon, so I just gave extra, settling the fuel along with it. Zhang Xinyue was busy in the cabin arranging the new home. On the sea, not one of last night's electrocuted fish remained. The toxic sea vine had eaten a portion, and the rest had surely had help from other marine life too. The sea vine was already 7 or 8 meters, the result of Zhang Xinyue's boosting. I boosted it once more with the copied talent, but saw no obvious change. A turn around the boat, and I found I'd become the idle man aboard. At a time like this, it'd be nice to have a game console. Unfortunately, that thing definitely wouldn't be coming anytime soon. At this stage, those still on canoes should be gone. But people like me who'd hit level 5, I reckon there were some, but definitely not many. The materials for level 4 to 5 had stumped even me for a while. Where on the market were there that many diesel engine blueprints in circulation? Most people, perhaps, were still struggling on level 3 sturdy rafts. I decided to go shout on the public board to collect a marine hydraulic transmission assembly, just in case there was a lead. A night without opening the chat window, and the private messages and friend requests were 99 plus again. I first sent Du Yiming a message, then turned to the board. Ji Chinsi, where are you? You can definitely see my messages, just reply to me once. Without you, how am I supposed to live, Chinsi? Simps, scram. Whoever's got spare iron nails, buying at normal market price. Iron nails. I switched to the trade channel and searched. Damn, packed solid. The listings for iron nails had generally hit a ratio of 3 nails for 1 bottle of water. When I'd been buying back then, it was still 1 bottle of water for 10 nails. The surge in iron nails meant a big batch of people were stuck on level 3 to 4. But water was precious too. Right now there was only one legitimate source of fresh water, opening chests. How many chests could one person salvage in a day? Fishing did work, but everything reeled up was quality of life stuff, nothing to do with food and drink. Most likely the mutant organisms in the sea had started surfacing. Everyone had developed a sense of crisis, and they were rushing to upgrade to save their lives. No water, you die. No boat upgrade, you also die. It's just that the former was chronic, and the latter, bad luck, and you're dead anytime. I switched back to the board and glanced at the survivor count. Region current survivors, 921,365. I paused, then understood. It was because I'd been living so comfortably that I hadn't quite realized how hard people short on water and food were living under the blazing sun. In a few days, K1 district alone had lost nearly 80,000. 80,000. Plenty of county towns don't even have that many people total. I shook my head, unwilling to think further, and pulled my gaze back to the board. Brothers, I see land. I see land. Big deal, seeing land. I saw it yesterday, way far off, no way to get there at all. I saw it yesterday too. It's a small island, all shrouded in thick fog. Who knows what's going on inside? After the first person spoke up, a whole crowd who'd seen the small island burst out in succession. Pieced together from the babble, the islands were big or small, some draped in thick fog. Too far away, powerless boats couldn't get there, but you could see them, and most islands had trees. This piqued my interest. Could it be that later we'd have to abandon ship and land on an island? I privately messaged the first one to report it, tossing 2 bottles of water over. His end didn't lag a second and replied right away. Those who knew were willing to tell. Unfortunately, the info was limited. The island was several kilometers from him. His level 4 fishing boat had no power, so he couldn't get there. The island was fairly flat, no mountains, dense jungle, with seabirds circling above it. He'd also faintly heard animal calls, but couldn't tell what. Animals. The rest, I'd only know once I went up onto an island myself. I listed a by message for the transmission assembly on the board and closed the chat window. Seems like today's hotter than yesterday again. I muttered and went into the cabin. Inside, Zhang Xinyue, in her swimsuit and white over-the-knee socks, had her back to me, standing before a bare cabin wall, quietly calculating something. Watching that captivating back, I felt my brain lose control of my body, and my 2 hands, refusing to obey, wrapped around her from behind. You rest a bit. I'll go see how Yi Cheng's research is coming. Refreshed and clear-headed, I kissed her smooth forehead and turned to leave the cabin. A small grumble came from behind me. Jerk. Back at the wheelhouse, I arrived just as Yi Cheng pushed the lever beside the wheel upward. The hull gave a light shudder and began to move forward. Oh, it can drive? A mechanical master for sure. I was thrilled. Hearing my voice, Yi Cheng, in the blue bikini, jolted violently, leaping to the left as if scalded before turning her head. Her whole little face was as red as a freshly boiled shrimp, even her ears and neck, red all the way down to her collarbone. Where are you not feeling well? I frowned. And nothing, I'm fine. She quickly turned her head back, pretending to focus on driving. I couldn't see what was up, so I asked about that substitute she'd mentioned. It's done. Her voice was a little shaky, and she didn't dare turn around, handing 2 objects of wood and metal over to me with her back to me. It was done a while ago. I went to find you. You were busy. I paused and instantly got it. She'd heard the sounds of me and Zhang Xinyue up close. As for how much she'd heard, I didn't know. Okay. Thanks for the work. I took the objects, stepped back 2 paces, and put my attention on them. They were 2 crossbows. Compound crossbows, to be exact. She cleared her throat, recovered a bit, and started explaining. These are the best I could come up with given the current conditions. Easy to use, no barrel burst risk, and the bolts are easy to make. Compared to a smoothbore gun, they're worse in both lethality and accuracy. But I added pulleys, so even an ordinary person can draw them. With your strength, it's easy to use, and the power is considerable too. For accuracy, I have no better method for now. It'll have to come down to you practicing more. The 2 crossbows were identical, about 80 centimeters long and 30 wide, solidly built. The limbs were double-layered hardwood sandwiching a narrow refined steel strip, with a thin rubber-wrapped copper pulley embedded at each end. The body's center was an iron bar-bent U-shaped bolt channel, with 3 shallow notches carved at the channel's edge as a sight. Honestly, I was a little let down. But thinking about the current conditions, there wasn't much to be picky about. Got any ready-made bolts? I'll give it a try. One hand on the wheel, Yi Cheng handed over 5 bolts with the other. Not sure you'll be satisfied, so I made 5 first. If you confirm you'll use them, I'll make more. Good call. I nodded. Stop the boat first. Come try firing with me, so we can talk through any issues. The wheelhouse was at the front of the boat, the cabin door 8 or 9 meters from the stern. The 2 of us stood at the doorway, and I took out a bolt and pushed it into the U-shaped channel. With a click, it locked firmly in place. Yue says you're strong, Yi Cheng said, pointing at the bowstring, suppressing something. I didn't fit you with a crank handle. Try whether you can draw it all the way back directly. If not, I'll add one. I gripped the crossbow body with my left hand, pinched the string with 2 fingers of my right, and pulled back. The string was tough and stiff too. Before I contracted Zhang Xinyue, I'd probably have needed a crank handle. But now, with strength far beyond an ordinary person's, a little force, and the string drew all the way back. The trigger catch sprang up automatically, locking the string. Loading a bolt is way less hassle than loading a smoothbore gun. I was satisfied. Of course, less hassle only for me. For anyone else, just drawing this string would be a struggle. Where do I shoot? I held up the crossbow, but couldn't find a target. Wherever the captain wants to shoot. Fine there. I pointed at the railing at the far end of the stern deck. Watch, firing. I released the safety and squeezed the trigger. VMM. The string snapped taut. The wooden bolt turned into a black blur even I could barely make out, shooting out fast. Clang. A loud metallic crack. I fixed my eyes. The bolt had hit dead center. Yi Cheng's mouth fell open in shock too. Captain, you shoot so accurately. Have you practiced? Practiced my ass. Does a slingshot count? Of course I didn't say that, just smiled. It's this thing of yours that's accurate. Come on, let's go look. At the railing, I saw 2/3 of the iron bolt head was sunk into the hollow rail, locked in firmly. I gave it a hard tug to pull it out. This power's no joke. I was startled. I thought it wouldn't be much better than a toy, but never expected that at this range, the destructive force might not lose to a smoothbore gun. Tisk, I'd underestimated her. The value of an S-rank mechanical master wasn't to be taken lightly. There's room for improvement, Yi Cheng smiled. If you confirm you'll use the crossbow, I'll swap both the bolt head and shaft to refined steel and make the head triangular. Make them. Make several thousand as backup, never mind the cost. I waved a big hand and gave her a number that made her sweat. Oh right, using the talent to make these drains stamina, doesn't it? Then handle it, however. Make a batch first, fill in the rest gradually. She'd meant to say her stamina couldn't keep up, but my words headed that off, and she just nodded. Okay. By the way, the boat can move now. Do we have a destination? A destination? There wasn't one. No. But someone on the board said they'd seen small islands. Keep an eye out as you drive, and the moment you spot land, tell me at once. Okay. Also, help me make a long blade and a dagger. Okay. After that, the pleasure boat cruised the sea at a speed of 10-some knots. I took some time to learn a bit of boat driving from Yi Cheng and spent the rest practicing with the crossbow. Zhang Xinyue recovered and went back to arranging the cabin. By the time the sun sank below the horizon, the cabin had taken on a whole new look. Various cute or stylish little ornaments, carefully chosen sofa, table, and chairs. Anyone who didn't know would take it for a cozy little two-bedroom home. That night, Zhang Xinyue slept with me, and Yi Cheng had a room to herself. The next day, it was Yi Cheng who woke me. Captain, it's nearly 11. There's a small island not far ahead. Do you want to come out and look? Hearing small island, I jolted and was about to spring up, only to find a smooth, exquisite naked body still in my arms. You go first, I'll be right there. I laid the still sleeping Zhang Xinyue back on the bed, tucked the blanket over her, and got up to leave the cabin. In the wheelhouse, Yi Cheng had waited a dozen-some minutes. I came holding a bottle of milk. Food from the buffet restaurant couldn't be taken out, so this bottle was rolled by the talent. Where's the island? I asked eagerly. Up ahead. She raised a hand and pointed into the distance. Today she wore a white halter bikini, paired with her short hair, clean and crisp. The only flaw was the two faint dark circles under her eyes. That bit of noise next door had probably kept her up another whole night. I knew, and didn't point it out. I looked in the direction she pointed, only the boundless sea. It's right up ahead. Look carefully, it's still just a little black dot now, she explained with effort. I drove 2 hours this morning at 16 knots before I saw that dot. A black dot poking up on the horizon should be land. Only then did I catch the little black dot I'd overlooked. Small indeed, almost stuck to the horizon, and with the sea swaying constantly, you'd skip right past it if you weren't paying attention. Speed up, head over. About 20 minutes later. Captain, do we keep getting closer? Yi Cheng asked. The pleasure boat was only half a kilometer from the island. The former little black dot had now spread out its full face toward us. 300 or 400 meters at the longest across, rugged coastline, not much land. Most of the ground was taken up by dense forest. Yi Cheng, go wake Xinyue up. Before long, Zhang Xinyue came over with sleepy, bleary eyes. Yon honey, what did you call me for? She rubbed her eyes, tears welling. Why'd you come without even putting on clothes? Looking at her, not a stitch on, dark lines crept across my forehead. Cheng said there was something important, and to hurry, she mumbled. There's no outsiders on the boat anyway. What's there to worry about? Me? Yi Cheng. The two of us were silent for a good while. Xinyue, in a bit you watch the house. Yi Cheng and I will go up onto the island. Huh? Island? Where's there an island? Only then did she look ahead and find there really was a small island. There won't be danger on the island, will there? Maybe I should go too, an extra hand to look out for each other. There were contaminated mutant fish in the sea. Who knew whether there were mutant plants on the island? She was genuinely afraid something would happen to me and her bestie. Besides, she didn't want to be apart from me and felt no security without me by her side. No, the boat can't be left empty. I shook my head. If something really goes wrong, you staying on the boat is good for backup too. Then have Cheng stay on the boat? She still has to drive. She wouldn't give up. Be good. Listen, we'll be back soon. Picking Yi Cheng over her, the reason was simple. Yi Cheng made the crossbows and was more practiced with them than Zhang Xinyue, so if we hit real danger, she could be a bigger help. Yi Cheng drove the boat to a deep water line near the shore with trees and cut the engine. I took a hemp rope from my inventory, tied one end to the bollard at the bow, and holding the other end, gave a light leap from the deck, landing steadily on the island, then tied the ropes into a nearby tree. Only after loading the bolts on both crossbows did I let Yi Cheng off the boat. The gangway door was midship, far from shore, so Yi Cheng could only climb over the bow railing to land like me. She came over and reached out for a crossbow. I didn't move, staring at her. You sure you're going dressed like that? I did quite like this white bikini and little slippers of hers, but the island's trees were dense, and there'd be no shortage of bugs. Charging in with this much skin bared was definitely not a good idea. Huh? Oh, I'll change right away. She flushed bright red and flailed into the athletic wear and sneakers she'd bought this morning, then handed me the long blade and dagger she'd been told to make yesterday. And only then was everything in order. After calling out to Zhang Xinyue on the deck, I went into the forest, blade in one hand, crossbow in the other, Yi Cheng with a dagger in one hand and a crossbow in the other. Half a minute later, a prompt floated into both our minds. You have entered slaughter hunting ground now. Z06-54115. Rewards granted upon clearing. Clear task. Kill all contaminated mutant animals. Time limit. None. The two of us stopped at the same time. Yi Cheng, stay sharp and run outright if you have to, I said seriously. She was a contracted crew member. If she died, the contract reward would be reclaimed, and I'd take a huge loss. As long as she could get away, with my near 30 across-the-board stats, I could absolutely make it out. Okay. She nodded firmly. If there's something I really can't handle, I'll pull out at once. Forward. Me in front, her close behind. Captain, if I can't get away, just leave me to lure the enemy and go yourself, she suddenly said. I couldn't tell whether she was testing me. I mean it. If you die, I die same as Yuewa. If you can get away, then Yuewa gets to live on with you. Don't hesitate. One dying is better any way you cut it than all three dying in the end. She said it earnestly, and there wasn't a trace of pretense in her eyes either. Enough, quit yapping. That's what I said, but something stirred in my heart. I've got my own judgment, sincere or not. Being able to say something like that at a time like this took courage in itself. I was helpless, too soft-hearted after all. When the game first started, I'd clearly thought myself stone-hearted. Changing this fast was all that little minx Zhang Xinyue's fault. Just you wait. I'll deal with you properly when we get back. The two of us softened our steps, heads constantly sweeping side to side, guarding against mutant creatures springing out anytime. 5 or 6 minutes later, I, walking ahead, suddenly raised a hand, signaling Yi Cheng to stop. She'd just opened her mouth when I'd already raised the crossbow one-handed, aimed forward, and squeezed the trigger. Hiss! A whistle of cleaved air, then a short distance ahead a cry of pain erupted. SSS, SSS. A flock of birds startled up, flapping away in flight. But that cry weakened sharply in under 10 seconds and faded into silence. Huh? Is the crossbow's power really this strong? I turned back, puzzled. That. I tempered the bolts with poison, Yi Cheng said quietly. Didn't you complain the power wasn't enough? After I finished the bolts yesterday, I salvaged some more toxic sea vine, squeezed out the juice, baked off most of the water, boiled it down thick, and smeared it on the bolt heads. I sucked in a cold breath. It was already highly toxic, and you concentrated it on top of that? No wonder that thing went quiet seconds after the bolt hit. Well done. I smiled and pointed at a dense clump of trees in the distance. A wild boar. Up close, that wild boar, aside from its bristles, had gone blue-purple all over, dead through and through, the refined steel bolt buried deep in its neck. Called a wild boar, but far from the one in my head. Half a size bulkier than an adult domestic pig, hide taut as tanned leather, a few strands of withered yellow bristles down its spine, for tusks no less. Curving outward with hooks, glinting black, shoulder blades ridged into a hump, for limbs thick and short as pillars. So huge. Yi Cheng sucked in a cold breath. Normally it could take several bolts and, as long as none hit a vital spot, still kill a person, I said seriously too. Good thing you tempered the bolts with poison. I meant that sincerely. With my current constitution plus crossbow plus blade, taking it down was no problem, just more effort. With these poison bolts, far less hassle. Keep going. Killing this one drew no system prompt, which meant we had to press on. Along the way we dropped 5 more boars, 3 by me, 1 by Yi Cheng, and 1 Yi Cheng shot missed, and, when the boar charged right up to her, I beheaded with a single blade stroke. After dealing with the 6th and going further, we reached the edge of the jungle on the other side. Not far outside was golden yellow sand. 4 mutant boars were on the beach, 3 lying and 1 standing, about 50 meters from us. 2 each, can you do it? I lowered my voice. But she didn't take it. No, I can't handle that. You 3, me 1. Fine. The one standing on the far left is yours. The 3 lying down I'll take. I nodded. Shoot, on 3, 2, 1. Her index fingers settled on the trigger. 3, 2, 1, shoot. 2 whistles of cleaved air rang out almost simultaneously. I shot a bolt, didn't even look, and immediately loaded, aimed, and shot again. Hiss. An earth-shaking shriek erupted on the beach. My first bolt hit dead center. Yi Cheng's bolt looked about to connect, but the standing boar suddenly took 2 steps forward. The bolt grazed past it and plunged far out into the sea. I missed, she cried anxiously, hurriedly loading a bolt. My second bolt hit again. 2 boars remained on the beach. The 2 startled boars hadn't found their enemy and instinctively charged toward what they thought was safety, the jungle, which was our side. Holy crap! I gritted my teeth and yanked out another bolt to load. On Yi Cheng's side. She was weak to begin with, and after the miss, seeing the boars charging, her nerves seized up with the bowstring. She couldn't draw it to the firing position no matter what. The 2 boars were frighteningly fast, charging out more than 20 meters in a blink, only 20-some meters from us. My third bolt loaded, I raised the crossbow, took a rough aim, and squeezed the trigger. Thunk! Not precise, but the boar was huge and the distance close, and the poison bolt plunged right into the left eye of the one straight ahead of me. Only the last one left. It had spotted us too. Shoot, quick! I warned. I can't load the bolt. Yi Cheng was nearly in tears. The more anxious, the more flustered. There was no time to load a fourth bolt. The boar suddenly leaped, charging straight at Yi Cheng. I stowed the crossbow in my inventory, grabbed Yi Cheng beside me, and flung her toward the beach. Her 50-some kilo body, with that fling of mine, flew out 7 or 8 meters. Almost at the same instant, the boar slammed into the spot she'd just been standing in, its momentum carrying it forward several meters until it crashed through a tree as thick as a bowl rim with a roar. Crack! The tree snapped, and the boar's momentum was spent. But as if nothing had happened, it wheeled around and charged at me. Not far behind me was Yi Cheng. Looking at those 4 thick, sharp tusks, I had no doubt it could skewer a person clean through. I advanced instead of retreating. Gripping the blade one-handed, I chopped down at its head. I put only half my strength into this stroke. If it dodged, I'd follow up by drawing the dagger. If it didn't, it would take the blade, and I'd be set to dodge the charge. But I'd miscalculated. Clang! It flicked its head up, parried my blade with its tusks, and kept charging. The huge recoil knocked the long blade clean out of my hand, dropping it to the ground. It could do that too. In a flash, I shifted my footing right to avoid the charge, drew the dagger from my inventory, and stabbed it hard into the boar's belly. Thunk! The dagger couldn't fully stop the forward charge. As its body moved forward, the blade tore a long gash in its flank, and crimson blood gushed out like a spring, spattering my hand and the ground. SSS, roar! The badly wounded boar shrieked earth-shakingly. Get back! I roared at Yi Cheng. I couldn't let her become its next target. Roar done. I let go of even the dagger, bent down, threw both arms around its left hind leg, and clung on for dear life. That blade wound just now had helped. Its momentum had eased most of the way. But even so, I was dragged 2 steps forward. Damn it, stop for me. I poured force through my whole body, the veins on my forehead, neck, and arms bulging cord by cord. A 300 or 400 kilo colossus, and I held it back by main force. Get back here. Another burst of force, and its hind leg couldn't take the strain. I flung its whole body backward. This was the weight of near 30 strength. Adrenaline surging. Only one thought remained in my head: kill it. I drove both hands into that long gash, found the thing inside its belly, gripped tight, and yanked outward with all my might. SSS. Slush, a huge mass of intestines, mixed with bloody gore, spilled all over the ground. With the blood loss spiking, most of its strength drained away too. It tried to turn and gore me with its tusks, but my agility was near 30 as well. Not so easy to land a hit. Borrowing that goring motion, I leaped back, landing right where the dropped long blade lay. Bending to grab the blade, I lunged back in. Go to hell. The long blade chopped at its neck again. This time it had no strength left to parry. Thunk! A full-force stroke, utterly overbearing, severing the whole boar head clean off. Bloody gore sprayed like a fountain, pumped out beat by the still twitching heart. Unfortunately, those were its last few beats. Clang, the long blade, its edge rolled, slipped from my hand to the ground. I dropped flat onto my backside, panting hard. It wasn't that I was so tired. It was the first time I'd hung by a thread like this, my nerves drawn taut the whole time, and now that they slackened, my whole body went limp. Zhuang Yin, Zhuang Yin. Yi Cheng, who'd been watching the show, was so frantic she didn't even call me captain, ran over, stepped on the boar intestines and slipped, and pitched headlong right in front of me. She wanted to help, but didn't have the ability. Seeing me drenched in blood, she was so scared her tears fell. It's fine, don't worry. I forced out a smile. Your team has cleared all contaminated mutant organisms in slaughter hunting ground no. Z06-54115. Obtained. Silver chest ×2, gold chest ×1. Announcement. Congratulations to player Zhuang Yin of Zone Z, District K1, leading a team to clear, for the first time district-wide, the Level 3 Slaughter Hunting Ground Z06-54115. Reward, Platinum chest ×1. The announcement sounded 3 times in a row, stirring up monstrous waves in District K1. The moment the announcement came out, others were stunned, but I wanted to curse. So my very first time entering a slaughter hunting ground, the one I'd randomly stumbled into, was a level 3? No wonder a single mutant boar was this hard to handle. If not for the crossbow Yi Cheng made and those bolts tempered with deadly poison, our only option would probably have been to flee back to shore with our tails between our legs. The key thing was, this hunting ground wasn't my choice. I'd stumbled into it at random, and the system didn't even give a level prompt. Which meant, if this time I'd entered a level 4, 5, or 6, Yi Cheng and I would have ended our days on this island today. And boars eat meat. Yi Cheng, who'd received the same announcement, had gone pale too. That bit of logic, she'd worked out in an instant. Not bad, decent rewards. I gave a small smile. Another platinum chest, definitely gonna open something good again. She forced a smile to play along, then said, Captain, inside the hunting ground we're cut off from the outside world. Let's head back, or Yue will worry. Your messages won't send? They won't. I just tried to send Yue an all clear, and the system said the hunting ground blocks outside contact. She probably sent us some too, and they got blocked. Fine, rest 5 more minutes. I smiled bitterly. My legs are still a little weak. She shifted position, kneeling down in front of me. Captain, thank you. Her eyes were watery, reflecting my face. From now on, I definitely won't drag you down. She could tell that from start to finish I'd done my utmost to protect her. Especially with that last boar, I actually hadn't needed to go to all that trouble. When it first charged, I could have given her up, loaded and shot in the window while the boar lunged at her, and that pig would have dropped on the spot. So why grapple with it? But that way, Yicheng would most likely have been gone. Thank me for what? I waved a hand. Forget the contract? From the moment you signed, you're my private property. Of course I have to protect you. Hearing these heartless words, she wasn't annoyed, just lowered her head and softly said, On the way back, I wanted to collect the boar corpses, fresh raw meat, which I could have listed on the trade channel for something. But unfortunately, it was contaminated by the toxic sea vine's poison, and the system wouldn't let me put it in my inventory either. The haul from this trip was 2 silver, 1 gold, and 1 platinum chest. Not exactly a full load, though the platinum was an unexpected delight. Captain, we can drive the boat and keep looking for islands like this. Yicheng suddenly turned serious. Look, chests from low to high are common: bronze, silver, gold, platinum. A level 3 hunting ground rewards 2 silver and 1 gold. Silver counts as a level 3 chest, gold a level 4. So I'm guessing the hunting ground clear reward is 2 same level chests plus 1 chest a level higher. This bit of pattern, anyone who games a lot would see through at a glance. But that she could work it out showed she was genuinely invested. Clear a few more and we'll verify it. I paused, then voiced my own guess too. I reckon there's more than one type of island like this. Besides the ones where you have to fight mutant creatures, there might be easier ones, or more dangerous ones. I remembered clearly. Yesterday on the board someone said the island they saw was shrouded in thick fog. Islands fogging up is common enough. but I just felt that islands and thick fog were different from the kind in front of us. No basis for it, purely a gut feeling. Just as we reached the jungle's edge, we heard Zhang Xinyue's delighted voice. Honey Ching Ching. She was leaning over the bow railing, smiling and waving at us. But the next second, her voice changed pitch. Honey, what happened to you? Don't scare me. She'd seen the blood all over me. Forgetting my earlier instruction, she climbed over the railing and jumped toward shore. Hey, watch your step. Those pink slippers were not suited for walking this uneven ground. She stumbled over, 2 meters from me. Her foot slipped, and she pitched forward. I'd been ready and swept her into my arms. She paid herself no mind, her little hands patting all over me. Are you okay? Are you hurt? Boo-hoo. It's all my fault. If only I could have helped. In just a few days, I'd become her sole pillar, material and spiritual. My heart softened, and I stroked her hair. Not hurt. This is boar blood. It's filthy. Get up quick. She still had nothing on, and the boar blood had smeared onto her too. Yet she hugged my waist and refused to let go for anything. Yuewa, let's get back to the boat first. The captain needs a shower and rest too. Yi Cheng came over to coax her. She looked at the two of us, then reluctantly gave an oh. An hour later, the wheelhouse. I'd changed into clean clothes. Zhang Xinyue wore a bright silver bandeau bikini, her pretty face's flush of passion not yet faded, her whole body leaning on me as if boneless. Yi Cheng took one look and got it. What had happened while we showered together just now needed no asking. Even at a time like this, you don't forget around. She muttered quietly, sounding a little sour. Honestly, I felt it was too frequent too. I even had the illusion the roles had reversed. Right now it was more like I'd become the one on call anytime. She didn't need to force me, and didn't have the strength to, but just a pose, a flick of her eyes my way, and I couldn't hold back. Of course, I didn't think anything was wrong with me. Any other man who could resist her seduction, now that would be the one with a problem. All right, let's sum up the gains from the island trip. I found a chair and sat. Zhang Xinyue sat sideways straight onto my lap, drawing another eye roll from Yi Cheng. 1. The loot. 2 silver, 1 gold, 1 platinum. I'll have Xinyue open them in a bit. I looked at Yi Cheng. If you want to open some, that's fine too. 2 each with Xinyue. No, Yuewa can open them. She waved repeatedly. Last time Zhang Xinyue's luck was running hot, and if she opened junk herself, she'd feel bad about it too. 2. First time entering a slaughter hunting ground. We banked experience and verified Yi Cheng's homemade weapons. The real combat results were excellent. Cheng Qing's so impressive. Zhang Xinyue cheered, leaning in my arms. Ahem, limited by materials. The blade and dagger can only be this quality for now. Yi Cheng cleared her throat. But I can still modify the crossbow. I'll try making it a repeating crossbow. Won't a repeating crossbow be too high difficulty? If it won't work, auto-loading bolts is enough. If today there'd been auto-loading, that whole danger at the end wouldn't have happened. I'll try my best. 3. We've figured out the rules of the slaughter hunting grounds. I reckon there'll be islands with other kinds of rules going forward. You two keep an eye on the board day to day. I caught that little hand of hers roaming over my Adam's apple. Especially you, Xinyue. While you browse the trade channel, glance at the board on the side. Got it. She tilted her head and gave my chest a light bite, protesting that I said she only knew how to shop. Business done, chest opening. I dumped all 4 chests onto the deck and jerked my chin at Zhang Xinyue. Then I'll open them. Silver 1, stat candy, strength. Silver 2, household medicine kit, containing common medicines and medical supplies. Opening 2 silvers in a row, neither dazzling. She handed them to me, the picture of grievance. Honey, maybe let's open the rest another time. No need, keep going. Gold, advanced stat candy, a sharing pack. This. She looked at me again. I waved indifferently. Not bad, keep going. In the past, I might have genuinely felt stat candy wasn't much use to me. But after that fight, I understood physical stats are too important. The mutant boar was only level 3 hunting ground fare. What about level 4? Level 5? Contracted crew adds stats. But as for this stuff, right now the more the better, plus I can share it with the 2 of them. A gold yielding a sharing pack, not a loss at all. Seeing I wasn't disappointed, she worked up her courage and flicked open the last one. Platinum. The lid opened, and a dazzling golden pillar of light burst out, as if to blow the cabin ceiling off. What did you get? Yi Cheng and I asked anxiously together. After last time, a pillar of light this strong meant good goods for sure. I don't get it either. See for yourself. She traded it to me. I opened it and sucked in a cold breath. Damn, this girl was a true luck goddess. Holboat AI Management Module once installed can replace the Marine Smart Control Module with no further upgrade needed, applicable to level 5 and above vessels. I'd been worrying about where to gather the materials for the Smart Control Module, and today it just popped right out of a chest, and a higher tier version at that. The Smart Control Module had to be upgraded along with the boat, and probably needed extra materials too. This whole boat AI management module meant never having to deal with the upgrade again, usable all the way up to a maxed boat. So much peace of mind. Captain, what is it? Yicheng was curious. A good thing. I shared the info with her. So that means you won't need me to drive the boat anymore? After reading it, she actually had little joy. What? You're not happy about doing less work? These girls' minds were truly hard to fathom. It's not that. I just feel like there's one less thing I can do. She was a little down. Before I could speak, Zhang Xinhua beat me to it, exasperated. Ching, are you dumb? Without having to drive, don't you get more time to research other things? That does make sense. One remark woke her up, and Yi Cheng's mood shot from rock bottom to the clouds. Xinhua's right. I smiled too. Freed from the wheelhouse, you can put more effort elsewhere. This trip your weapons were a huge help. Next, if you can improve the crossbow some more, even better. Hearing me say it too, Yi Cheng felt at ease and gave me a sweet smile. I understand, Captain. All right, come, stack candy one each.